Chapter 1976. Time flew by and another 25 years had passed in the universe realm. In these 25 years, Yi Chunfeng had used the God-Eater brain to fully understand the rules of time in the divine wood of time. He had increased the speed of time acceleration by 30 times and the speed of time deceleration by 20 times. However, as the divine wood of time had withered, there was no time-stop rule in the divine wood of time. With Yi Chunfeng's help, Yu Nikhang had successfully condensed the black and yellow Dharma power. As the black and yellow flag was an empty God artifact, the black and yellow Dharma power that she had condensed was even more terrifying than the chaos Dharma power. It had reached the empty God realm. Split the life soul. After condensing the black and yellow Dharma power, Yu Nikhang immediately followed the method that Yi Chunfeng had taught her. She forcefully split 2/3 of her life soul into the black and yellow Dharma power. This way, even if Yu Huashan crushed the life jade, he would not be able to harm Yu Nichang's life. Empty God realm, eternal God. After comprehending the territory stone for 50 years, she had almost perfected the God's territory. She was only one step away from breaking through to the empty God realm. Nikhang, do you have a way to leave the massacre tomb secretly? After Yu Nikhang had successfully condensed the black and yellow Dharma power and split her life soul, Yi Chunfeng was completely relieved. With the protection of the slaughtered doppelganger and the black and yellow Dharma power, he could let Yu Nikhang return to the Ascension Palace without worry. Yes. Yu Nikhang nodded and said, with the help of the 3 Lives Stone, I can communicate with the 3 Lives Stone. I can use the 3 Lives Stone's power to open the space gate and leave directly. Nikhang, I just thought about it. You can't expose yourself yet. Yi Chunfeng said, how about this? You can use the 3 Lives Stone to open the space gate and leave the massacre tomb. Then, you can find a way to hide the slaughtered doppelganger and the black and yellow Dharma power. Then, you can blame everything that happened in the massacre tomb on me. This, Nikhang, do as I say. Although the Yuhua Palace is powerful, they can't hurt me. Recently, I am going back to the soul-fighting continent. Therefore, even if they target me, Yu Huashan and the others won't be able to find me. Yi Chunfeng interrupted Yu Nikhang and continued, you can use this time to break through to virtual God level with the Chaos Divine Fruit and the Territory Stone. Once you break through to the virtual God realm, with the help of the slaughtered doppelganger and the black and yellow Dharma form, you will have a much higher chance of taking the life jade from Yu Huashan. Alright, Chunfeng, you have to be careful too. Although your combat strength is strong and you can fight low-level virtual gods, there are many mid-level and late-level virtual gods among the various tribes in the virtual god realm. They can still harm you, Yu Nikhang said solemnly. I understand, I will be careful. Yi Chunfeng nodded. Alright, there's no time to lose. Hurry up and leave this place. Remember, point all the blame at me. Say that I stole everything in this tomb. Although Yi Chunfeng was reluctant to part with Yu Nikhang, he could only let Yu Nikhang leave first to the outside world in order to cover up Yu Nikhang better. Chunfeng, I will wait for you at the Yuhua Palace. You must come and marry me safely. Yu Nikhang hugged Yi Chunfeng. After a deep kiss, she unsealed the 3 Lives Baby Stone. She poured a large amount of ancestral power into the 3 Lives Baby Stone and tried to communicate with the 3 Lives Baby Stone. The 3 Lives Baby Stone was the cosmic primordial stone and it contained unimaginable energy. When the 3 Lives Baby Stone communicated with the 3 Lives Baby Stone, a mysterious space gate appeared. Chunfeng, you must take care of yourself. I'm leaving. Yu Nikhang looked at Yi Chunfeng reluctantly. Then, she forcefully shattered all the meridians in her body to create the illusion that she was heavily injured. She left through the space gate and left the eerie tomb within the tomb. Yes, space energy. Like headless flies, the Grand Imperial Elder and the others who were searching for Yi Chunfeng in the tomb within the tomb suddenly sensed a surge of space energy. They immediately summoned their top-quality ancestral artifacts and attacked the space gate, shattering it. They took the risk and entered the black space. They forcefully passed through space and entered the core space of the tomb within the tomb within the tomb. A group of tombs, what a huge group of tombs! When they finally entered the core area of the tomb within the tomb within the tomb, the Grand Imperial Elder and the others immediately saw the huge group of tombs. Seal this place. I want him to be unable to escape even if he has wings. The Grand Imperial Elder ordered with a gloomy expression. He had a feeling that Yi Chenfeng, who openly opposed them, was hiding in the group of tombs in front of them. Yes, more than 10 Sky Clan members and empty gods from the demon tribe obeyed. They summoned formation flags and formed 2 mysterious formations. They sealed the entire group of tombs and did not give Yi Chenfeng a chance to escape. Let's go in. After sealing the tombs, the Grand Imperial Elder and Mo Xian, who were half-stepped to empty gods, led close to 30 empty gods from the 2 tribes into the eerie group of tombs. They were searching for Yi Chenfeng's whereabouts and the rare opportunity in the group of tombs. Yi Chenfeng and Yu Nikhang had broken through all the restrictions and dangers in the group of tombs. The Grand Imperial Elder and the others entered directly. Soon, they arrived at the end of the group of tombs and found a stone room that was filled with cracks. When they broke open the stone door of the stone room, they found Yi Chenfeng sitting with his legs crossed. We've finally found you. Today, you won't be able to escape even if you have wings. The Grand Imperial Elder glared fiercely at Yi Chenfeng, who was sitting with his legs crossed, and said coldly, "You're just a motley crew?" Yi Chenfeng opened his tightly shut eyes and said coldly as he looked at the Grand Imperial Elder and the others who were brimming with killing intent. He did not care about the Grand Imperial Elder and the others at all. You dare to speak to us like this with your 5-star ancestor strength? This god really doesn't know where your courage comes from. Mo Xian, who was wearing a black robe and had demonic qi surrounding him, said fiercely as he bared his white teeth. Courage naturally comes from strength. Yi Chenfeng slowly stood up and said, "All right, let's not waste any more time. All of you can come at me together. After I'm done with you, I still need to find a place to drink." You're courting death. A 6-star sky ancestor was enraged by Yi Chenfeng's arrogance. He roared furiously and held a middle-grade ancestral artifact spear in his hand. He pierced through layers of space and stabbed at Yi Chenfeng. Divine Spirit Pagoda, suppress! The 6-star heavenly ancestor thrust his spear forward. The supreme-grade ancestral artifact Divine Spirit Pagoda broke out of Yi Chenfeng's body and unleashed a terrifying suppressive force that ruthlessly suppressed his body, instantly bending his waist. In the next moment, Yi Chenfeng stepped out with his sword and appeared in front of the 6-star sky ancestor like a bolt of lightning. 3,000 God-transforming fist. He punched out, forming 3,000 invincible fist radiance that bombarded the 6-star sky ancestor's body at close range. Although the 6-star sky ancestor was powerful, he could not block the attack of the 3,000 God-transforming fist at close range. His body's defense shattered and a large amount of energy poured into his body, sending him flying. Boom! His entire body was blown apart by the 3,000 God-transforming fist. Undefeatable heavenly art, condense. With his body blown apart, the 6-star sky ancestor immediately activated the faint undying bloodline in his body and forcibly used the undefeatable heavenly art to condense his broken body in an attempt to escape. Chapter 1977. He killed a 6-star ancestor in an instant. Seeing Yi Chenfeng kill a 6-star heavenly ancestor with the immortal bloodline, not only the Grand Elder Emperor and Mo Xian were dumbfounded, but everyone present was dumbfounded. The immortal bloodline flowed in the heavenly tribe's peak almighties and was extremely difficult to kill. Moreover, Yi Chenfeng was only a 5-star Dao ancestor. How can his attack be so terrifying? At that moment, the Grand Elder Emperor and the others looked at Yi Chenfeng differently. They no longer looked down on him. "All right, don't look at me. I'm looking at you. I still have things to do. All of you can come at me together. Yi Chunfeng said tyrannically as he summoned the flying celestial sword and pointed at the gloomy Grand Elder Huang and the others. All right, kid, I don't care who you are. But you'll definitely die for killing our heavenly tribe's almighties. The Grand Elder Emperor summoned a supreme-grade ancestral artifact dragon head scepter and mobilized a powerful spatial energy to attack Yi Chunfeng. When the Grand Elder Emperor attacked, the half-step virtual god Emotion also attacked at the same time. He held a sea god trident and tore through space, stabbing at Yi Chunfeng. 10,000 god tribulation. The two half-step virtual gods attacked. 4 ancestor-grade Tao diagrams gushed out of his body and quickly merged behind him, forming a huge wave. He punched out with both fists and his primordial bloodline burned. More than 3 trillion gene of strength merged with the 4 ancestor-grade Tao diagrams, destroying the space in front of him and bombarding the Grand Elder Emperor and the others. Boom! Boom! The 10,000 god tribulation collided with the Grand Elder Emperor and Emo Xian's attacks, instantly causing an earth-shattering explosion. Terrifying energy swept out in all directions, shattering the space within a radius of several miles. Heavenly territory, demonic territory. An earth-shattering rebounding force surged towards them. The 2 Grand Elders immediately unleashed their powerful domains to block the rebounding force as they continued to attack Yi Chunfeng. You want to hurt me with just 2 incomplete territories? You guys are so naive that it's a little cute. Yi Chunfeng let out a cold snort when he saw the 2 Grand Elders unleashing their domains. He activated his invincible sword body, materializing an even stronger sword domain to meet them head-on. Ka. The 3 domains collided, and the entire space was once again heavily impacted. What? A complete domain? Sensing that their domains were unable to withstand Yi Chunfeng's sword domain and were continuously cracking, the Grand Elder and Grand Elder Huang revealed an expression of disbelief. They were so shocked that their eyeballs nearly fell out of their sockets. God's heart fuse. While the 2 Grand Elders were still in shock, Yi Chunfeng quickly merged with the God's heart. With the massive energy of the God's heart, he advanced to half-step virtual god level. His strength has increased again. What kind of monster is he? Sensing that Yi Chunfeng's ability had reached half-step virtual god level, the Grand Imperial Elder and the rest felt uneasy. They finally understood why Yi Chunfeng's tone was so arrogant. Divine Essence Pagoda suppressed the space. With the increase in his strength, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the Divine Essence Pagoda. He controlled the Divine Essence Pagoda to expand continuously, suppressing the entire space and restricting the 2 Grand Elders' movements. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Sky-Devouring Sword, which was a virtual god weapon. He then attacked the Grand Imperial Elder, who was shocked. No, virtual god weapon. Who are you? Sensing the power of the Sky-Devouring Sword, the Grand Imperial Elder was terrified. As he unleashed his powerful killer move, he tried his best to dodge the attack. However, Yi Chunfeng's combat strength was not any weaker than his. The attack power of the Sky-Devouring Sword was beyond his imagination. Under the attack of the Sky-Devouring Sword, the Grand Imperial Elder's killer moves shattered continuously. The dragon head scepter that he had used all his strength to defend himself was cracked by the Sky-Devouring Sword. It almost broke apart. The Grand Imperial Elder was sent flying by Yi Chunfeng's attack. His entire body was slashed by the invincible sword radiance from the Sky-Devouring Sword, causing blood to spurt out of his body. Invincible heavenly technique. With his body heavily injured, the Grand Imperial Elder immediately unleashed the invincible heavenly technique. He activated the faint immortal bloodline in his body and quickly reconstructed his body. However, at this moment, the Divine Spirit Pagoda came crashing down on the Grand Imperial Elder's broken body. It smashed him to the ground from mid-air, and his entire body was smashed into a meat paste. "No, you can't kill me." The Grand Imperial Elder, who had a tenacious life force, did not die even though his body was destroyed. He kept wailing in pain. As he unleashed the invincible heavenly technique, he opened the heavenly territory and made his final struggle. However, the power of the Divine Spirit Pagoda was too terrifying. No matter how the Grand Imperial Elder struggled, he could not resist the suppression of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. At this moment, Mo Xian, the Divine Race, and the Demon Race who sensed the danger were scared. They did not dare to attack Yi Chunfeng. They wanted to break out of the encirclement and leave quickly. "Do you think you can escape?" With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Grim Reaper, Half-Step Evil God, Chaotic Divine Beast, Fa Tianzu, Peacock King, and the rest to chase after Mo Xian and the rest. Fa Tianzu. "You're Yi Chunfeng." Seeing Fa Tianzu suddenly appear, Mo Xian immediately guessed Yi Chunfeng's identity. Chaotic Dharma Devour. Yi Chunfeng did not care that his identity had been exposed. He summoned his chaotic Dharma and let it devour the Grand Imperial Elder to form the precious chaotic divine fruit. Although there were many divine race and demon race experts, the Grand Imperial Elder's life was hanging by a thread. Only Mo Xian was a half-step empty god. They could not withstand the ferocious attacks of Yi Chunfeng, the Grim Reaper, and the rest. Soon, there were chilling wails in the tomb. The divine race and demon race experts were killed by the Grim Reaper, Half-Step Evil God, and the rest. When the divine race and demon race suffered heavy casualties, the chaotic Dharma devoured the Grand Imperial Elder and successfully formed 4 chaotic divine fruits that contained part of the territory power. It flew over quickly to help Yi Chunfeng and the rest kill the experts of the 2 races. Blood escape. Mo Xian was terrified. He ignited all the blood qi in his body at all costs and turned into a streak of blood light. He tore through the encirclement and escaped from the tomb. "Do you think you can escape?" Yi Chunfeng summoned the immortal wings and sped up time by 30 times. He chased after Mo Xian at 100 times the speed of light and quickly closed the distance between them. However, as the Grand Imperial Elder of the demon race, Mo Xian had many trump cards that could save his life. Using these trump cards, he called for help while fending off Yi Chunfeng's attacks and running for his life. However, as he ran, he suddenly thought of something terrifying. He didn't know where the exit out of the tomb was. Thinking of this, his heart turned cold and a layer of cold sweat appeared on his body. Fight! Unable to leave the tomb, Mo Xian could only fight with his life on the line. He burned his powerful bloodline at all costs and used many methods to raise his battle strength to the peak. He wanted to fight with all his strength. Tao of Artifact Manipulation. Mo Xian used all his methods to launch a fatal attack. As he shattered layers of space, Yi Chunfeng used the Tao of Artifact Manipulation and threw out the Divine Sword Devourer. The sword slashed apart Mo Xian's fatal attack and cut open the shattered space. Under Mo Xian's terrified gaze, the sword cleaved him in half. Chaotic Dharma Idol Devour. After cutting open Mo Xian's body, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the chaotic Dharma Idol to continue devouring, condensing 3 incomparably precious chaotic divine fruit. Chapter 1978. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Although he had killed all his enemies, Yi Chunfeng knew that his identity had been exposed. To prevent the Sky Tribe and Demon Tribe from sending virtual gods to kill him, Yi Chunfeng put everyone into the universe realm. He wanted to leave the massacre tomb through the wormhole created by the Space Swallower. Who's there? When he arrived near the wormhole, his sharp senses suddenly sensed danger and he looked into a dark space. Yi Chunfeng, you've really impressed me. I can't believe you could sense my presence with your ability. A tall and slender woman in a long green dress with skin as smooth as milk, and although her facial features were not exquisite, she exuded an enchanting charm. She had a pair of white jade-like feet, and lotus flowers grew beneath her feet as she slowly walked out of the dark space. Low-level virtual god. Looking at the lady in green dress before him, Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrank to the size of a pinhole. The god-devouring brain, which was rapidly deducing, sensed that she was a rare low-level virtual god who had the power to destroy the world. Yi Qinfeng, since you're here, I think you've killed the Sky Tribe and Demon Tribe members. The lady in green dress, who was standing on 2 green lotus flowers, said softly. No one could guess what she was thinking. That's right. They're all dead. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said frankly. Although the lady in green dress before him was a great threat, Yi Qinfeng was not afraid. However, Yi Qinfeng had just killed Mo Xian and used the weapon manipulation Dao. For a short period of time, he would not be able to use this divine ability to activate the strongest attack of the divine sword devourer. Yi Qinfeng, I don't know what enmity you have with the Sky Tribe, but you've killed my people again and again. I won't forgive you today. The lady in green dress's eyes suddenly sharpened. The lotus flower under her feet suddenly enlarged and spun quickly. It cut through the space and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Chaos Dharma, merge. Facing a low-level virtual god, Yi Qinfeng did not dare to be careless. He quickly summoned his Chaos Dharma and merged with it, increasing his combat strength to that of a low-level virtual god. Break! With the increase in his strength, Yi Qinfeng immediately threw a punch at the rapidly spinning lotus flower. A force of more than 1 trillion jin suddenly burst forth. It was like a gushing river, shattering the lotus flower and breaking the green-dressed woman's attack. Low-level virtual god level. I didn't expect you to have such a trump card. Sensing Yi Qinfeng's battle prowess, the green-dressed woman's eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit. Yi Qinfeng, you're making me more and more interested. As she spoke, the green-dressed woman's graceful body began to spin. Slowly blooming lotuses broke out of her body, dragging long tails of light behind them as they attacked Yi Qinfeng. Sword domain break. As a large number of energy lotuses surged forward, Yi Qinfeng swiftly took a step forward and activated his domain of swords. Thousands of swords of light formed within his domain of swords, which continuously shredded the energy lotuses that tried to break through his domain of swords. Break the domain. As Yi Qinfeng forcefully broke through the green-dressed woman's attack, she moved her hands quickly and instantly formed a flawless white lotus. The lotus's core evolved into a path. The gigantic lotus violently bombarded Yi Qinfeng's domain of swords. Ka. Under the attack of the lotus, the domain of swords immediately cracked, putting Yi Qinfeng under immense pressure. 3,000 transformation god punch. Yi Qinfeng's domain of sword shattered, and all the power in his body suddenly erupted. He instantly blasted out 3,000 invincible divine fists, which were like a meteor shower, annihilating the entire space and shattering the incomparably huge will of the Great Path Lotus. I was wondering why you dared to go against the Sky Tribe. I didn't expect you to have such abilities. However, your combat strength is not enough to escape from me. As she spoke, the woman in the green dress summoned a long sword that was flowing with water patterns. It was entirely green in color and looked like a jade carving. Semi-void god artifact. Sensing that the aura of this jade-green longsword far exceeded that of a top-grade ancestral artifact, Yi Qinfeng guessed that this sword should be a semi-void god artifact. Myriad celestial walls. After summoning the jade-green longsword, the green-dressed woman's body surged with powerful spatial energy. Instantly, layers of myriad celestial walls were formed. They were like towering mountains that pressed down on Yi Qinfeng. The moment the myriad celestial walls pressed down, the green-dressed woman's body fused with the jade-green longsword. With a speed that was several times faster than the speed of light, she stabbed at Yi Qinfeng. Facing the green-dressed woman's double attack, Yi Qinfeng did not take it head-on. He summoned the Undying Wings and instantly accelerated the flow of time by 30 times. Relying on his absolute physical strength, He tore through the myriad celestial wall's suppression and teleported to the side. Yi Chenfeng, you can't escape. After Yi Chenfeng dodged the attack, the green-dressed woman immediately changed her direction and continued to attack him with a thunderous momentum. She was determined to severely injure him. Myriad ancestral swords. Unable to break free from the green-dressed woman's attack, Yi Chenfeng immediately fused with the ancestral sword soul and activated the invincible sword body. Thousands of invincible divine swords were formed and slashed at the green-dressed woman. As the two of them fought fiercely, the myriad celestial walls that suppressed the void pressed down and bombarded Yi Chenfeng's body. Divine Essence Pagoda. At the critical moment, the Divine Essence Pagoda broke out of Yi Chenfeng's body and rose into the sky to resist the myriad celestial walls' attack. Thousand Lotus Slash. The green-dressed woman relied on her powerful strength to tear through the myriad ancestral swords. Her body turned into a lotus that evolved the Tao of heaven and earth. Instantly, thousands of lotus petals were formed and annihilated Yi Chenfeng. Sword Domain. As the Thousand Lotus Slash approached, Yi Chenfeng immediately opened up his sword domain to block the Thousand Lotus Slash with all his strength. However, the green-dressed woman's Thousand Lotus Slash was too powerful. Even the sword domain could not block it. Die! The green-dressed woman roared and merged with the dark green longsword again. Her sword pierced through the shattered sword domain and pierced towards Yi Chenfeng's chest. You can't kill me! With his life hanging by a thread, Yi Chenfeng did not panic. He quickly summoned the divine sword, Devourer, and countered the attack. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When the two sword tips came into contact with each other, the explosive force shattered the space within a 1-mile radius. Void God Sword. Sensing the destructive aura from the divine sword, the green-dressed woman felt a sharp pain in her arm. Her expression changed instantly. Although she knew that her combat strength was above Yi Chenfeng, there was an insurmountable difference between a half-Void God artifact and a true Void God artifact. Yi Chenfeng had the Void God sword and could make up for the difference in combat strength. Are you still confident that you can kill me now? Yi Chenfeng activated his invincible sword body and held the divine sword, Devourer, like a sword god. He looked at the green-dressed woman, whose expression had changed slightly. Yi Chenfeng, you are really surprising me more and more. It seems like killing you will bring me unimaginable rewards. The value of a Void God artifact was unimaginable. Looking at the divine sword, Devourer, in Yi Chenfeng's hand, the green-dressed woman's eyes turned fiery. If she had a Void God artifact, she was confident that she could fight against an intermediate Void God. You still don't want to give up? Alright, let's see who will have the last laugh. Yi Chenfeng took a deep breath. Unparalleled sword intent gushed out from his body. He held the divine sword, Devourer, and slashed towards the green-dressed woman with unparalleled sword force. Chapter 1979. Boom! The two divine weapons clashed and the space cracked. Enduring the earth-shattering recoil, Yi Chenfeng stabbed his sword towards the woman in the green dress. The sword seemed extremely slow, like the speed of a tortoise. However, in the eyes of the woman in green, the sword was extremely dangerous, and she instinctively dodged. But the moment she dodged, the seemingly slow sword pierced towards her chest like a bolt of lightning. The sharp sword light tore through her body's defenses and cut through her battle armor, revealing a deep sword wound. A large amount of blood flowed out uncontrollably. 20-fold time deceleration. The woman in green revealed a serious expression. She was surprised that Yi Chenfeng had such a deep understanding of the time rule. After injuring the woman in green, Yi Chenfeng pursued the victory. He accelerated and slowed down, constantly attacking the woman in green. He relied on the unpredictable speed of his attacks to suppress her attack. Xian Tian Divine Scripture. Heavenly Punishment. The woman in green was completely enraged by the suppression of her attack. She roared and merged her domain and Tao will, controlling a part of the world. She transformed into the terrifying power of heavenly punishment, annihilating the void and bombarding Yi Chen-feng. Infinite chaos. The terrifying heavenly punishment attacked, and the rolling power of chaos spewed out of Yi Chen-feng's body, turning into a towering chaotic divine wood. With a strike, the chaotic divine wood evolved into the infinite great Tao, resisting the bombardment of the power of heavenly punishment. Divine sword devouring heaven / The two divine powers were like roaring tides, spurting and repelling each other in midair. Yi Chen-feng merged with the invincible sword body and ancestor-level sword soul, activating the mysterious divine patterns in the divine sword devouring heaven. Like a constantly extending spatial crack, it tore apart the two divine powers and slashed at the woman in green. The woman in green did not retreat as the divine sword radiance slashed at her. She held the emerald sword in her hand and met the attack with all her might, resisting Yi Chen-feng's attack head-on. The two of them fought fiercely in the tomb within the tomb. Their terrifying attacks constantly shattered space and tore the earth apart, destroying the tomb within the tomb beyond recognition. Although Yi Chen-feng had raised his combat prowess to the peak, the green-dressed woman's strength was beyond his imagination. Borrowing the power of her heavenly domain, she unceasingly countered Yi Chen-feng's attacks, using all her skills to kill Yi Chen-feng. Time ticked by. The two of them fought fiercely from the sky to the ground, and from the ground to the sky, raising the space to the ground. Although their injuries continued to worsen, their willpower was strong. None of them retreated. They gritted their teeth and attacked with all their might. However, as time passed, Yi Chen-feng, who had ignited his primordial bloodline and possessed boundless ancestral power, gradually gained the upper hand. The green-dressed woman, who had continuously unleashed shocking killing moves, felt a trace of fatigue. Myriad Deity tribulation. 10,000 swords returned to origin. Infinite chaos. Seizing the opportunity when the green-dressed woman's attacks slowed down, Yi Chen-feng turned his body into 10,000 swords. His left hand formed the Myriad Deity tribulation, and his right hand formed the infinite chaos. He launched a fatal killing move at the green-dressed woman. The three supreme divine abilities blasted out at the same time. The explosive power was comparable to a void god artifact. It directly tore apart the green-dressed woman's attack and bombarded her body, sending her flying. Her beautiful body was smashed into pieces, and a large amount of blood spurted out from her mouth. Undefeatable heavenly technique. The green-dressed woman immediately executed the undefeatable heavenly technique after suffering heavy injuries. She stimulated the undying bloodline in her body and forcefully repaired her body. While she was repairing her body, Yi Chen-feng controlled the divine spirit pagoda to smash at her body, forcing her to defend with all her might. Godless sword. When the green-dressed woman relied on her absolute strength to send the divine spirit pagoda flying, Yi Chen-feng's sword transformed into 10,000 Tao. The sword seized the light of heaven and earth as it pierced towards her chest with a speed that exceeded 100 times the speed of light. Poof! Poof! At the critical moment, the green-dressed woman held the emerald-green sword in front of her chest. However, the invincible sword aura from the divine sword devourer still penetrated the emerald-green sword and entered her body. She was injured and a large amount of blood spurted out from her body. After injuring the green-dressed woman consecutively, Yi Chen-feng took the initiative. He continued to increase the speed of his attacks and suppressed the green-dressed woman with all his might. He did not give her any chance to catch her breath. The strength of a sky tribe empty god is only SOSO. Yi Chen-feng attacked with all his might and mocked the green-dressed woman at the same time, provoking her. However, the green-dressed woman was able to cultivate to the low-level empty god realm. Her martial heart was extremely tough. Yi Chen-feng's words did not affect her at all. However, she had lost the initiative and was unable to turn the situation around. Her attacks were completely suppressed by Yi Chen-feng, and her injuries continued to worsen. How is this possible? Doesn't he know how to feel tired? During the intense battle, the green-dressed woman realized that Yi Chunfeng was getting stronger and stronger. He did not show any signs of fatigue. She was in disbelief. However, the more powerful Yi Chunfeng was, the more determined she was to kill Yi Chunfeng. At this moment, she had a feeling that if she could kill Yi Chunfeng and obtain the treasures on him, she might have a chance to step into the intermediate empty god realm. Xian Tian Divine Scripture, Blood Curse Technique. The green-dressed woman gritted her teeth and burned her life blood to cast the powerful blood curse technique. She forcefully restrained Yi Chunfeng and restricted his movements. Ancestral Swords. After being restrained by the blood curse technique, Yi Chunfeng immediately activated his invincible sword body. He transformed it into tens of thousands of invincible divine swords that circled around his body and tore through the blood curse technique's restraint. Go to hell! Huangji Heavenly Path, Annihilation of all spells. When Yi Chunfeng forcefully tore through the blood curse technique, the green-dressed woman cast her ultimate move. She destroyed all spells and charged toward Yi Chunfeng. We don't know who's going to die yet. Weapon Manipulation Technique, Devourer's Sword Slash. After more than a day of intense battle, Yi Chunfeng could already use the weapon manipulation technique. Under the activation of the weapon manipulation technique, all the divine patterns on the divine sword Devourer were activated. With one slash, the Huangji Heavenly Path that the green-dressed woman cast was forcefully slashed apart. No. The green-dressed woman did not expect Yi Chunfeng to be able to unleash the most powerful attack of the divine sword Devourer. She instinctively dodged. However, the attack speed of the sword was too fast for the green-dressed woman to dodge it. Swish! The green-dressed woman's body was slashed open by the divine sword Devourer. The entire ground was torn apart by the terrifying sword gleam of the divine sword Devourer. Heavenly Invincible Technique. After her body was slashed open by the divine sword Devourer, the green-dressed woman continued to activate her immortal bloodline to forcefully heal her body. However, the divine sword Devourer's power was too terrifying. It had severely damaged the green-dressed woman's body. Even if she had the immortal bloodline, she could only recover about 20% of her strength. Her injuries were severe and could not be healed in a short period of time. The green-dressed woman was afraid. She was afraid that Yi Chunfeng would activate the divine sword Devourer's strongest power again. If that happened, she would not be able to escape. Yi Chunfeng, I will remember this grudge. In the future, I will return it tenfold. The green-dressed woman left behind a ruthless statement and suddenly broke out of the encirclement. Looking at the green-dressed woman's back view, Yi Chunfeng did not give chase. With his current combat strength, he could defeat the green-dressed woman, but he couldn't kill her. There was no meaning in continuing to tangle with her. Chapter 1980. The Starry Sea was one of the most dangerous places in the 100 Battles starfield. It covered an extremely vast starfield. Without great strength, no one dared to step into the Starry Sea. This is our Spider Squad's last chance. If we can't hunt more than 100 Starry Sea Demon Cores, we will lose this chance to become a branch. A valiant woman with a cold gaze said with a solemn expression. She was wearing a tight-fitting leather jacket that outlined her sexy figure. Her long purple hair casually draped over her shoulders, and her eyes were cold and valiant. Captain, the demonic beasts and demons in the periphery of the Starry Sea have all been killed. If we want to collect 100 Starry Sea Demon Cores, we have to go to the deepest part of the Starry Sea. But legend has it that there are progenitor realm demonic beasts and demons in the deepest part of the Starry Sea. If we encounter them, it is very likely that we will be wiped out. A man in a green robe with a sharkskin sword hanging from his back and an obvious scar at the corner of his left, I said cautiously. No, I cannot miss this opportunity to advance to the branch. If I miss this opportunity, our squad will have to wait another 100 years. And without the resources of the branch, our cultivation speed will be incomparably slow for the next 100 years. So, this risk is worth it. The purple-haired woman shook her head and firmly said, Captain, I will accompany you to the depths of the starry sea to hunt high-level demonic beasts and demons. I don't believe that our luck will always be so bad. A tall and sturdy man with thick hair all over his body, like an iron tower, clenched his bowl-sized fist tightly and said loudly, We are also willing. The members of the spider squad looked at the valiant and charming purple-haired woman with burning gazes as they spoke in firm tones. Sigh, since no one has any objections, let's determine the route and location of the deeper parts of the starry sea. We must try our best not to enter the deepest part of the starry sea. The green-robed man sighed softly when he saw everyone's attitude. He took out a slightly yellowed sheepskin scroll. On the scroll was a map of the starry sea. Are you selling this topographic map of the starry sea? Just as the 9 members of the spider squad were gathered together to study the route, a low voice entered their ears. Who? Hearing the sudden voice, the purple-haired woman and the others immediately became alert. They all looked behind them and saw a man in a white robe. He was tall and straight like a spear. He had a delicate face and looked like a scholar as he slowly walked over. This man was Yi Chunfeng, who had left the Tomb of Slaughter through the wormhole and returned to the 100 Battles star field. Yi Chunfeng came to the 100 Battles star area to suppress the war devil in the depths of the Sea of Stars. He wanted to subdue the war devil, a powerful helper, for his own use. Don't be nervous, I don't mean any harm. I'm only here for the map in your hands. Yi Chunfeng smiled and said softly as he met the vigilant gazes. You also want to go deep into the Sea of Stars? The purple-haired woman looked at Yi Chunfeng from head to toe and found that his eyes were clear and his aura wasn't strong. She let out a sigh of relief and asked, Yes, I want to go to the Sea of Stars to find something. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said vaguely, If you're willing to give me the map of the Sea of Stars, I can give you a price that you'll be satisfied with. Sure, you can have the map of the Sea of Stars, but you'll have to pay 100 star demon cores that are above the Emperor level, the man in the green robe said deliberately as he rolled his eyes. What's a star demon core? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly. He had so many treasures that even virtual gods would be jealous of, but he didn't have a star demon core. You don't even know what a star demon core is? The burly man glanced at Yi Chunfeng in disdain. He looked at him as if he was looking at a bumpkin and said, A star demon core is obtained from killing monsters and demons in the Sea of Stars. It's extremely precious. If you have 100 star demon cores, we'll sell you the map of the Sea of Stars. You really don't want to consider other treasures? You only want star demon cores? Yi Chunfeng said helplessly. That's right. We entered the Sea of Stars for star demon cores. If we sell you the map of the Sea of Stars, it means that we'll lose our star demon cores. This is something that other treasures can't make up for. As Yi Chunfeng's aura was not strong, the purple-haired lady and the others did not take him seriously. They did not believe that he had any treasures that could interest them. What do you think about this? I'll go deep into the Sea of Stars with you and help you hunt for star demon cores. When I've hunted more than 100 star demon cores, you'll give me the map of the Sea of Stars. Yi Chunfeng could even severely injure a virtual god. Hunting an Emperor-level star demon core would be a piece of cake for him. The purple-haired lady looked at Yi Chunfeng deeply, hesitating. Although Yi Chunfeng's aura was not strong, they had never met before. The purple-haired lady could not figure out Yi Chunfeng's background. She was worried that he would covet the star demon cores and harm them. Why? Are you worried that I'll harm you? Yi Chunfeng noticed that the purple-haired lady was the leader of the 9 people in front of him. Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly as he looked at the hesitant purple-haired lady. Sir, although I don't know what your real purpose is, we won't bring a stranger with us. Goodbye. The purple-haired lady raised her head slightly and met Yi Chunfeng's gaze. She noticed that his eyes were extremely sharp. She rejected him tactfully. Let's go. We'll enter the Sea of Stars. After saying that, the purple-haired lady and the others did not hesitate. They accelerated and flew into the Sea of Stars that shone brightly. Sigh, do I look like a bad guy? Looking at the purple-haired lady and the others' backs, Yi Chunfeng rubbed his nose and mumbled to himself helplessly. However, the Sea of Stars was too big. It was not easy to find the place where the war demon was suppressed. Yi Chunfeng did not want to snatch the map from the purple-haired lady and the others. He could only hide his aura and follow them into the Sea of Stars. He wanted to find a way to plunder 100 star demon cores and buy the map. Captain, do you think there's something wrong with that guy? The green-robed man came to the side of the purple-haired lady and lowered his voice to a whisper, sending it into her ears. Yes. The purple-haired lady nodded and said, I'm sure that he is hiding his strength. His true strength should be above us. Really? The green-robed man thought that his perception was very sharp. He did not notice anything special about Yi Chunfeng. His eyes are very scary. Recalling Yi Chunfeng's sharp eyes, the purple-haired lady nodded and said, Furthermore, he dares to venture into the Sea of Stars alone. Without absolute strength, it is no different from courting death. That's true. The green-robed man nodded and said, Captain, do you think he will follow us? It's possible. The purple-haired lady said with a grave expression, Let's increase our speed. Once we reach the center of the Sea of Stars, we will immediately enter the sea and use the complicated terrain to get rid of him. After saying that, the purple-haired lady and the others increased their speed, flying into the depths of the Sea of Stars at an extremely fast speed. Around 3 days later, they flew to a lone island in the center of the Sea of Stars at an extremely fast speed. Enter the Sea. Chapter 1981. King-class demonic beast. The 9 of them tore through the layers of seawater and quickly dived into the depths of the Star Sea. They discovered a ferocious king-class sea shark that was over 10 zhang in size and had razor-sharp teeth. A king-class demonic beast was equivalent to a 2-star demonic emperor. The purple-haired lady's strength was at the pinnacle of a 6-star Dao emperor. The remaining 8 spider team members were all above 4-star Dao emperors. They could easily kill this sea shark. Don't let it escape. The purple-haired lady and the others increased their speed and surrounded this king-class sea shark. They launched ferocious attacks at it and quickly killed it. They obtained an egg-sized demonic core that shone with starlight and contained powerful demonic energy. Let's go. Let's continue to search for lone demonic beast. After easily obtaining a demonic core, the purple-haired lady and the others continued to dive into the Star Sea to search for lone demonic beast. Star Sea Demon. When the 9 of them were about to dive to the bottom of the Star Sea that was tens of thousands of meters deep, they suddenly discovered a tall and sturdy Star Sea Demon with a long fishtail and fin-like ears. After discovering their prey, the purple-haired lady and the others increased their speed to pursue this Star Sea Demon. They wanted to kill it and obtain its demonic core. This Star Sea Demon's strength was equivalent to a 4-star demonic emperor and was far inferior to the purple-haired lady and the others. However, in the depths of the Star Sea where the pressure was extremely high, its movement speed was extremely fast. The purple-haired lady and the others increased their speed to the maximum before they managed to close the distance with great difficulty. About an hour later, when the purple-haired lady and the others gradually caught up to this Star Sea Demon, it suddenly dived into a long and narrow trench and disappeared. Captain, should we chase after it? Looking at this hell-like trench, the green-robed man and the others revealed cautious expressions and transmitted their voices. Wait for me up there. I will go down and take a look myself. The purple-haired lady had been to the Star Sea more than once and knew that many demonic beasts and demons liked to reside in the trenches. However, when she thought of the purpose of this trip, she decided to take the risk. Captain, let me accompany you into the trench. The green-robed man transmitted his voice. No, I can go down by myself. The purple-haired lady shook her head and said, wait for my news up there. If I run into any trouble, you just have to provide support in time." "All right then. Captain, be careful," the green-robed man and the others instructed. Swish! The purple-haired woman moved like an arrow that had just left the bow. She tore apart the layers of ice-cold seawater and flew towards the trench at an extremely fast speed. She explored the terrain of the trench and searched for the star ocean demons in it. "What's that?" As she swam, the purple-haired woman vaguely discovered streaks of red light and a huge shadow in the trench. "That's blood coral. Such a big blood coral." The purple-haired woman slowly approached the red light. She realized that the huge shadow was actually a giant blood coral. Judging from the size of the blood coral and the aura it gave off, the blood coral was at least 1,000,000 years old. If she brought it to the outside world, she could sell it for a sky-high price. "Grand hand of Tao intent," the purple-haired woman roared. She quickly derived a powerful will of the way, condensing an extremely huge hand of will of the way. It grabbed at the huge blood coral, wanting to uproot it and take it away. "Despicable human, don't you dare taint my race's sacred item." Suddenly, a ferocious howl entered the purple-haired woman's ears. A large number of demons swam out from the depths of the trench and surrounded the purple-haired woman. This aura, a master-level astral demon. Sensing that an abnormally tall and sturdy astral demon with a black beard holding a coral staff had reached the demon lord realm, the purple-haired woman's beautiful face paled, revealing an expression of fear. "Run!" Facing an undefeatable enemy, the purple-haired woman only had one thought in her mind, and that was to run. "Lowly human, do you think you can escape?" The master-level astral demon let out an extremely ferocious voice. A powerful sound wave came from his mouth, like a thunderclap from the 9 heavens, resounding in the purple-haired woman's ears. It shook her soul, causing her 7 orifices to bleed in pain. "Am I going to die here?" A single roar from the master-level astral demon injured her soul. This caused the purple-haired woman's heart to fall to the bottom, revealing a deep sense of despair. At this time, the astral demons wielded various weapons and attacked her, wanting to kill the purple-haired woman who trespassed on their territory. Suddenly, the purple-haired woman's vision blurred, and a blurry figure appeared in front of her. The next moment, the astral demons wielding weapons seemed to have suffered a heavy blow. Their entire bodies exploded, turning into clouds of blood. It's you." The purple-haired woman, who had just survived, revealed a look of disbelief when she saw the person who had saved her life. She would never have dreamed that the person who saved her would be the Yi Chunfeng she had always wanted to get rid of. "There are more than 100 astral demons here. If I kill them all, will you give me the map of the astral sea?" After instantly killing more than 20 astral ocean demons, Yi Chunfeng turned his head and looked at the dumbfounded purple-haired woman. Okay. The purple-haired woman regained her senses and nodded mechanically. "Die." After obtaining the purple-haired woman's agreement, Yi Chunfeng's body emitted a boundless sword aura and attacked the astral demons that were running for their lives in panic. In the blink of an eye, nearly 160 astral demons were instantly killed by Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng put away their demon cores that shone with faint starlight into a universe ring. This blood coral is not bad. I'll give it to you as well." After killing all the astral demons, Yi Chunfeng waved his hand and formed a giant hand that covered the sky. It easily uprooted the blood coral that weighed hundreds of millions of kilograms and stored it in the universe ring. "Now, can you give me the map of the astral sea?" Yi Chunfeng handed the universe ring that contained more than 100 demon cores and the giant blood coral to the purple-haired woman. Who are you?" The purple-haired woman had never seen someone with such terrifying strength. "I'm a human like you," Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. The purple-haired woman handed the map of the astral sea to Yi Chunfeng and thanked him from the bottom of her heart. "Senior, thank you for saving my life. This map of the astral sea is yours. For the sake of this topographic map, I'll give you another opportunity. Using the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng discovered that the meridians in the purple-haired woman's chest were severely blocked. He gently extended a finger and, under her slightly panicked gaze, pressed his finger between her towering breasts. The next moment, unparalleled sword will shot out from Yi Chunfeng's finger and penetrated the meridians in the purple-haired woman's chest. It crushed the pill toxins that were blocking her meridians and smoothed out her meridians. Open your mouth. The shy purple-haired woman discovered the changes in her body. While her face was filled with shock, Yi Chunfeng's voice entered her ears. She instinctively opened her mouth and swallowed a milky white elixir. Bang! As soon as the milky white elixir entered her body, it instantly erupted with powerful medicinal strength, and it fused madly into her body with Yi Chunfeng's help. In less than the time for an incense stick to burn, the purple-haired woman had relied on the milky white elixir to surmount a difficult step and break through into the one-star Downlord realm. Thank you, Senior. Spider will never forget this. The purple-haired woman who'd recovered from her shock restrained the excitement in her heart, knelt down in the trench, and spoke with gratitude. Alright, let's split up here. Chapter 1982. What a powerful suppressive force. This map of the universe was indeed correct. The war demon should be suppressed at the bottom of this trench. Yi Chunfeng put away the map of the universe in his hands. He glanced at the bottomless trench and flew over at an extremely fast speed. While flying towards the bottom of the trench, Yi Chunfeng encountered many powerful astral ocean demonic beasts that resided in the trench. Among them, there were even Deity realm astral ocean demonic beasts. However, these demonic beasts posed no threat to Yi Chunfeng. In the blink of an eye, the astral ocean demonic beasts that attacked Yi Chunfeng turned into a bloody mist. About 2 hours later, Yi Chunfeng broke through the layers of restrictions and entered the bottom of the trench. He found an incomparably huge demon suppressing steel. Under the demon suppressing steel, there was a strangely shaped stone. Sealed within the stone was a burly demon. I've finally found you. Looking at the war demon suppressed by the demon suppressing steel, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. Human, how did you find this place? Suddenly, a deep voice entered Yi Chunfeng's ears. War demon, how about we make a deal? I'll help you escape and you'll submit to me for 10,000 years. Yi Chunfeng looked at the war demon suppressed by the demon suppressing steel and replied loudly. Submit to you? The war demon revealed a trace of disdain and said, Human brat, your appetite isn't small. You actually dare to have designs on this demon. Do you know that this demon can crush you with a single finger? War demon, don't say such useless things. So what if your strength is heaven-defying? Can you escape from this demon-suppressing land? Although the war demon was terrifying with Yi Chunfeng's current strength, he didn't fear it at all. Alright, if you can help this demon escape, this demon agrees to submit to you for 10,000 years. The war demon said after pondering for a long time. War demon, I hope you don't lie to me. Otherwise, the consequences will be dire. Yi Chunfeng coldly warned. He endured the terrifying demon suppressing steel's demon suppressing power and approached the demon suppressing steel. He reached out and grabbed a golden talisman stuck on the steel. Buzz buzz buzz. When Yi Chunfeng's finger came into contact with the golden talisman, streams of demon suppressing power shot out from the golden talisman and attacked Yi Chunfeng. However, as his strength increased, Yi Chunfeng's invincible sword body became even more terrifying. The demon-suppressing power reflected by the golden talisman could not harm Yi Chunfeng in the slightest. Open. Enduring the attack of the golden talisman, Yi Chunfeng forcefully removed the golden talisman. Ka. Without the golden talisman, the demon-defending monument immediately cracked. The invincible demon chi from the war demon poured into the demon-defending monument and continued to crack it. Break for me. The war devil looked up to the sky and roared. A wave of territory power pushed open the sky and shattered the demon sealing steel. Boom. When the demon-suppressing steel shattered, it immediately released a terrifying destructive power that bombarded Yi Chunfeng at close range, sending him flying hundreds of meters away. Ah, I can finally see the light of day again. The war devil let out an earth-shattering roar. It waved its arms and roared loudly at the bottom of the pitch-black trench, venting the pain of being suppressed for 1,000,000 years. Half-step virtual god. Sensing the incomplete territory power around the war devil, Yi Chunfeng was surprised. He was surprised that the war devil had broken through to half-step virtual god after 1,000,000 years of suppression. War devil, now that I've helped you out, can you fulfill your promise? Yi Chunfeng crawled up from the ground, walking step by step to the war devil, who was hissing loudly. Promise? What promise? The war devil looked at Yi Chunfeng again and said, Human kid, don't tell me you're so naive to think that I'll submit to you for 10,000 years? Why, are you going back on your word? Yi Chunfeng frowned and asked in an unfriendly manner. Human kid, I realize that your naivety is kind of cute. The burly war devil said with a ferocious gaze, Since you've helped me out, I won't torture you. I'll leave you with a complete corpse. There's really no one I can trust among the demonic tribe. Yi Chunfeng shook his head as he felt the killing intent from the war devil's body. Forget it. Since you're not willing to submit to me, I'll beat you until you do. Ha ha ha, human kid, have you lost your mind? The war devil laughed arrogantly. Do you think you can hurt me with your ability? Whoosh. As soon as the war devil was done speaking, it suddenly realized that Yi Chunfeng had disappeared before its eyes. In the next second, Yi Chunfeng, who was burning his primordial blood, appeared in front of the war devil as if he had teleported under the 30-fold time acceleration. He threw a punch at the war devil's chest. The punch was extremely slow, but the war demon couldn't dodge it. The punch landed on its chest, and its entire body was sent flying. It landed heavily on the ground several hundred meters away. Do you think I can hurt you now? Yi Chunfeng, who had used time acceleration and time deceleration to send the war devil flying with a single punch, said calmly. Human kid, I'm going to kill you. The war devil crawled up from the ground in a sorry state. It was like an enraged lion as it roared furiously. It grabbed a piece of the demon's suppressing monument and attacked Yi Chunfeng. Chaos limitless. The war devil attacked with a shocking demonic aura. Yi Chunfeng immediately fused with the god spirit heart and deduced the 4 ancestral Tao diagrams. He fused with the chaos divine tree's shadow and blasted out the limitless way. It destroyed the war devil's attack and the demon's suppressing monument fragment, sending it flying again. How can you have this kind of fighting power? After being blasted away by Yi Chunfeng, the war devil finally understood how terrifying Yi Chunfeng was. It widened its ferocious eyes and exclaimed in disbelief. War devil, will you submit to me? Yi Chunfeng asked domineeringly as he walked with heavy steps toward the war devil, whose face had turned pale with fright. You want me to submit? Wait until your next life. The war devil was an arrogant creature. It wouldn't submit to anyone. It furiously roared and burned its powerful bloodline power. It created an invincible demonic technique and attacked Yi Chunfeng. Ancestral Sword Soul. Break. The invincible demonic technique created by the war devil attack. Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned his ancestral sword soul to block the attack. Demon Domain. Kill. The war devil suddenly approached Yi Chunfeng. It opened a powerful demon domain and covered Yi Chunfeng. It wanted to use the demon domain to kill Yi Chunfeng. Sword Domain. As the demonic domain approached, Yi Chunfeng took a step forward and activated his sword domain. He instantly shattered the pitch-black demonic domain and attacked the war devil, who had turned pale with fright. How is this possible? How can you create a complete domain? Feeling the terror of the sword domain, the war devil's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. It exclaimed in disbelief. Sword domain. / The war devil cried out. Yi Chunfeng controlled the sword domain to quickly condense it into an invincible sword. He slashed at the war devil, breaking the demon domain and sending it flying. Its strong body was almost cut in half by the sword domain. Will you submit or not? Yi Chunfeng looked down at the seriously injured war devil and asked in a domineering manner. You want me to submit? Wait until your next life. The war devil never dreamed that its fate would be so rough. It had just escaped and now it was in the jaws of a tiger. However, it was proud and arrogant. It would never submit to a human. It controlled its powerful bloodline power to suppress its injuries. At the same time, it fearlessly attacked Yi Chunfeng. However, it had just escaped, so it couldn't display its full strength. Chapter 1983. Are you going to surrender? Are you going to surrender? Yi Chunfeng showed no mercy. He activated his sword territory and kept attacking the war demon ferociously. The war demon was sent flying again and again, worsening its injuries. I'm not going to surrender. The war demon, who was beaten senseless by Yi Chunfeng, let out an unyielding roar as it struggled to get up. However, the moment he got up, a huge footprint with a force of millions of kilograms stomped on his face, sending him flying. A large amount of blood gushed out from his nose. War demon, I'd like to see how tough your bones are. After kicking the war demon away, Yi Chunfeng continued to attack it. The war demon was beaten so badly that it almost lost its ability to fight back. Although Yi Chunfeng still had the Soul Eater's brain with him, he was unwilling to use it on the combat devil since it could control a virtual god. Kill me if you have the guts, the war demon said stubbornly as its injuries worsened and its consciousness blurred. It's not that easy to die. Yi Chunfeng revealed a cold smirk. He summoned the white dragon rope and restrained the war demon's badly injured body. Then, Yi Chunfeng summoned a white porcelain jar from the universe mirror. He opened it in front of the war demon, revealing the worms that looked like white silkworms with a pair of sharp teeth. They were squirming non-stop. War demon, aren't you very tough? I hope you'll still be so stubborn later. Yi Chunfeng transformed into a large number of light swords and penetrated the war demon's severely injured body. He sealed its source of energy by force. Then, Yi Chunfeng used the Soul Eater's brain to seal its soul before pouring the entire jar of worms on the war demon's body. No, why do you have bloodthirsty worms? The war devil sensed that its broken body was constantly being drilled into by those white silkworm-like insects. The heart-piercing pain spread all over its body. The war devil roared in pain and struggled with all its might. However, the source of his power was sealed, and he couldn't break free from the white dragon rope's binding. Meanwhile, a large number of bloodthirsty insects were attracted by the smell of blood from the war devil's broken body. They kept drilling into his body, devouring his flesh and blood. He was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. Bastard, kill me if you dare. The war devil rolled its blood-red eyes, angrily looking at Yi Chunfeng as it thundered. Kill you? Yi Chunfeng sneered and said, Killing you is too easy, but I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to make you submit. Impossible. Even the human emperor couldn't make me submit back then. You are even less worthy. The war demon said unyieldingly. Human sovereign. Yi Chunfeng didn't expect that the one suppressing the war demon would be the human sovereign. I have plenty of time to play with you. When all your flesh is devoured by the bloodthirsty worms, I will find another body for you so that your soul can parasitize and continue to devour. Yi Chunfeng's words made the war demon despair. It wasn't afraid of trouble, but it was afraid of endless torture. Human brat, you win. I'm willing to submit. Yi Chunfeng's words completely destroyed the war demon's psychological defenses, making it fearful and desperate. It had no choice but to submit. No, it's still too early. I want to see how strong your backbone is. Although the war demon verbally chose to submit, Yi Chunfeng wasn't going to let it go after being tricked once. He sat cross-legged beside it, watching the bloodthirsty worms devour the war demon's flesh and torment it. What are you waiting for? I've already submitted. Are you still not going to let me go? The war demon, whose flesh was constantly being devoured and whose mind was on the verge of collapse, angrily roared. I don't believe you. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, I can swear that as long as you let me go, I will submit to you for 10,000 years. The despairing war demon had no choice but to lower its noble head and say in pain, I'm tired. I'll take a nap first. When I wake up, we can talk. Yi Chunfeng yawned and said, Human race brat, you're a villain who goes back on his words. You won't have a good ending. Human race brat. I know I was wrong. I beg you, let me go. Hey, are you deaf? Hurry up and wake up. Submit, I'm really willing to submit. Under the devouring of the bloodthirsty worms, the war demon's mind was on the verge of collapse. It kept shouting at the top of its lungs. As it roared, a large number of bloodthirsty worms drilled into its mouth and down its throat into its body. It deeply experienced the feeling of hovering between life and death. It was an excruciating pain that made it want to die. War demon, you're not lying to me this time, right? When the war devil was tortured to the point where it was on the verge of schizophrenia, Yi Chunfeng opened his tightly shut eyes and said slowly, No, I'm really willing to submit. I submit. The war demon was truly scared and weakly shouted, All right, I hope you're not lying to me. Otherwise, I'll make sure you experience 10 times more painful torture. With that, Yi Chunfeng gently patted the white jade jar and called back the bloodthirsty worms that had devoured a large amount of flesh and blood back into the jar. He resealed it and put it back into the universe mirror. Don't resist, come to the spatial treasure. Even though the war demon seemed to have truly submitted, Yi Chunfeng was still not at ease with it, so he teleported it into the universe mirror. What is this place? Feeling the 50 times faster flow of time and the rich immortal spirit energy in the universe mirror, the war demon widened its eyes and asked in shock, War demon, you also have so much nonsense to say? Yi Chunfeng coldly said, Don't ask what you shouldn't ask in the future. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Right now, I have a question for you. I hope you can answer honestly. Are you really suppressed by the mortal emperor? Yes, I was really suppressed by that fake mortal emperor. The war demon weakly said, The mortal emperor wanted to suppress me and use me to slowly erode the evil race. However, I didn't agree, so he suppressed me here. Hypocrite! Yi Chunfeng slightly furrowed his brows and said, Since I've chosen to serve you for 10,000 years, I won't hide it from you. Even though you're from the human race, you better be careful of the mortal emperor. He's definitely a hypocrite from head to toe. His ambition isn't just to be the emperor of the human race. The war demon revealed an important piece of information to Yi Chunfeng. What do you know? Yi Chunfeng slightly furrowed his brows. He didn't think that he would unexpectedly obtain important information about the mortal emperor from the war demon. Do you know why the human race only has 2 sacred grounds in the void god realm? The war demon asked. This is also related to the mortal emperor? Yi Chunfeng's brows furrowed even tighter. Correct. In the ancient era, the human race had many sacred grounds. However, in the end, only the Kunlun sacred ground and the Ascension Palace were left. According to a secret that I accidentally discovered, the human sacred grounds weren't destroyed by other races, but by the mortal emperor. The war demon nodded and said, Is what you said true? Yi Chunfeng's heart was in turmoil. It's absolutely true. According to my guess, the reason why the mortal emperor left the Ascension Palace behind wasn't because he couldn't destroy the Ascension Palace. Instead, he secretly controlled them. The war demon continued. The Ascension Palace was secretly controlled by the mortal emperor. Yi Chunfeng's face instantly turned gloomy. War demon, you better not lie to me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. It's up to you to believe it or not. However, all of this is true. The war demon said, the mortal emperor did this because he wanted to secretly control the entire human race. He wanted to use the human race as his stepping stone so that he could stand out among the other races and become the only god. Become a god. Although Yi Chunfeng didn't completely believe the war demon's words, the temptation of becoming a god could indeed make one lose their nature and do some crazy things. Just as Yi Chunfeng was in deep thought and slowly digesting the important information that the war demon revealed to him, a terrifying aura surged under the divine wood of time and evolved into a large number of illusions. This is someone entering the virtual god realm. Looking at the mysterious illusions that appeared in the distance, the war demon and a large number of eyes said in shock. Chapter 1984. Bang! A towering water column exploded in the depths of the star ocean. It was like a long dragon laughing at the 9 heavens, shooting straight into the clouds. After leaving the demon suppression land, Yi Chunfeng flew out of the star ocean at an extremely fast speed. He wanted to go to the dimensional portal where the spiritual fish had ascended and descend directly. Danger! As Yi Chunfeng flew above the star ocean at an extremely fast speed, the God-Eater brain that was deducing at an extremely fast speed suddenly sensed danger. It was shocked and dodged instinctively. Swish! The moment Yi Chunfeng dodged, a long sword mark tore the space apart. It instantly covered hundreds of meters, cutting the space apart. Who's there? Sensing the space energy lingering in the air, Yi Chunfeng's expression changed slightly. He looked at a white cloud floating in the distance and said solemnly, "Nice reaction." The slowly drifting white clouds suddenly split open, and a man shrouded in black light slowly walked down from the clouds, exuding dense devil chi. A virtual god. Although the aura of the man in black light was not strong, Yi Chunfeng could confirm his ability when he stared at him. Moreover, Yi Chunfeng had a feeling that the man in black light was not an ordinary virtual god. His ability was most likely at mid-level virtual god. Could it be him? Yi Chunfeng had just rescued the suppressed war demon and was immediately attacked by a suspected mid-level virtual god. Thinking about what war demon had said, the man's identity gradually appeared in Yi Chunfeng's mind. "I have no grudge against you. Why did you attack me?" Yi Chunfeng tried to calm himself down and asked softly while looking at the man in black light. "There aren't so many whys in this world." The man in black light said coldly, "I want to kill you, so you have to die. It seems like my existence is a threat to you." Yi Chunfeng said calmly. He wanted to confirm his guess through the clues revealed in his word. "You think too highly of yourself." The man in black light said, "Although you're talented, you're not a threat to me. However, you've ruined my plans time and time again, so you deserve to die." "Very well, let's see how you're going to kill me." As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng burned his primordial bloodline and integrated the god's heart and the chaotic dharma that he had just broken through to virtual god level. He elevated his ability to the peak of low-level virtual god level. Sensing Yi Chunfeng's sudden increase in strength, the black-radiated man revealed a look of surprise. He was surprised that Yi Chunfeng still possessed such a technique. One had to know that there was an insurmountable gap in strength between a grade 5 progenitor and a low-level virtual god. However, Yi Chunfeng could instantly elevate his combat strength to a low-level virtual god, so the secret he was hiding was definitely extraordinary. "I've underestimated you," the man in black light said in a low voice. He had developed a strong interest in Yi Chunfeng's secrets. "However, no matter how heaven-defying your methods are, it's useless. You won't be able to escape today." As he spoke, the man in black launched a fierce attack on Yi Chunfeng. He wanted to capture him alive and force him to reveal his secrets. Invincible sword body, sword territory. As the man in black light attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately activated his invincible sword body and opened up his sword territory, attacking the man in black light with all his might. Ka ka ka. As he was attacked by the sword territory, the man in black light immediately threw a punch. The terrifying fist gleam destroyed the sword territory's attack as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. It also blasted a huge hole in the sword territory, forcing Yi Chunfeng to dodge with all his might. While Yi Chunfeng was dodging, the man in black light threw a few punches at Yi Chunfeng one after another, aiming to kill him. With every punch, the space within a few miles would shatter. The terrifying fist gleam continued to shatter Yi Chunfeng's attacks, threatening his life. Fortunately, the Chaos Dharma idol had a breakthrough after devouring the divine wood of time. After comprehending the time law contained in the divine wood of time, Yi Chunfeng merged with the Chaos Dharma idol and instantly grasped the 50-fold time acceleration and deceleration law. Under the 50-fold time acceleration, Yi Chunfeng shifted around in the chaotic space, creating illusory afterimages as he constantly dodged the man in black light's attack. While dodging rapidly, Yi Chunfeng was constantly looking for an opportunity to break out of the encirclement and escape. Black Devil Sky Covering Seal. As Yi Chunfeng dodged his attacks continuously, the man in black light immediately executed his ultimate move. Billowing demonic aura gushed out from his body and instantly condensed into a huge demonic seal. It was like a towering mountain that smashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Undying Wings Amplitude. As the Black Devil Sky Covering Seal smashed over, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the Undying Wings and once again increased his speed. He tore through the layers of air and tried his best to break out of the encirclement. However, the moment Yi Chunfeng broke out of the encirclement, his vision blurred. The man in black light appeared in front of him as though he had teleported. He interweaved a large number of attacks and attacked Yi Chunfeng, trying to force him to retreat. Myriad Swords Return to Origin. Myriad Gods Tribulation. Infinite Chaos. Facing the man in black light's close attack, Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. He activated the strongest power of the invincible sword physique and instantly struck out 3 supreme mystical abilities to meet the man in black light's attack. Boom, boom, boom. A series of earth-shattering explosions resounded above the sea of stars. The terrifying power instantly collapsed the dozens of seas in the surrounding area, creating a vacuum zone thousands of meters deep. Countless creatures in the sea were annihilated. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. After facing the man in black light's attack head-on, Yi Chunfeng was immediately injured by the powerful recoil. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. All the meridians in his body were torn apart by the violent power that surged into his body. Tao of Equipment Manipulation, Divine Sword Sky-Devouring Slash. Yi Chunfeng ignored the injuries on his body and quickly executed the Tao of Equipment Manipulation. He activated the divine patterns on the sky-devouring sword and slashed a fatal strike at the man in black light. TSK. As the sword slashed down, the space was torn apart. The terrifying divine sword radiance slashed apart the man in black light's attack and slashed towards his body, forcing him to dodge to the side. The moment the man in black light dodged, Yi Chunfeng immediately increased his speed to the limit and escaped from the sea of stars at an extremely fast speed. Die! After Yi Chunfeng broke out of the encirclement, the man in black light immediately slashed at Yi Chunfeng. The power of this slash was even more terrifying than the divine sword sky-devouring slash. With this slash, a spatial crack that was thousands of nautical miles long appeared in the entire space. The slash pierced through Yi Chunfeng's chest. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. After his chest was pierced by the invincible sword radiance, Yi Chunfeng immediately executed the Undying Divine ability. However, the power of this slash was too terrifying. Even the Undying Divine ability couldn't heal Yi Chunfeng's injuries. Large amounts of blood spurted out uncontrollably from his mouth. However, at this moment, Yi Chunfeng didn't slow down. He burned his life source blood at all costs to increase his speed and escape with all his might. This was because he knew that if he couldn't escape, the man in black light could definitely take his life. During the exchange, although the man in black light had executed the demon race's mystiques, Yi Chunfeng could sense that he was deliberately hiding something. He basically confirmed his identity. Yi Chunfeng escaped with extreme speed. The man in black light pursued closely and was determined to kill Yi Chunfeng. Time acceleration, accelerate. Feeling that the man in black light was getting closer and closer, Yi Chunfeng used the Chaos Avatar to forcefully suppress his injuries and the remnant power of the Divine Sword. He constantly increased his speed by 50 times and escaped with all his might. Soon, the two of them crossed the boundless sea of stars and flew towards the spatial teleportation array that led to the lower domain. Explode for me. Unable to shake off the man in black light's pursuit, Yi Chunfeng constantly took out treasures that contained the power of self-destruction and attacked the man in black light. He was thinking of all ways to slow down the man in black light. After about 3 days, Yi Chunfeng and the man in black light crossed the vast star region of the 100 Battles star region and arrived at the place where the spatial teleportation array was hidden, according to the spirit fish. Tao of Equipment Manipulation / The God-devouring brain, which was rapidly deducing, discovered the spatial teleportation array. Yi Chunfeng immediately executed the Tao of Equipment Manipulation and slashed at the man in black light who was chasing relentlessly with the Divine Sword, Sky-Devouring Divine Sword. As the Sky-Devouring Divine Sword radiance attacked, the man in black light didn't dodge. Instead, he slashed the invincible Divine Sword and met it head-on. The two invincible Divine Sword radiance clashed in the void and instantly erupted with light that was more dazzling than the sun. Spatial Teleportation Array, activate. Making use of the Sky-Devouring Divine Sword's obstruction, Yi Chunfeng appeared at the location of the Spatial Teleportation Array and quickly activated it. Die. When Yi Chunfeng was teleported away by the Spatial Teleportation Array, the man in black light slashed the invincible Divine Sword at the teleportation light beam. PFFF. The moment Yi Chunfeng was struck by the sword, he was also teleported away by the teleportation light beam and disappeared. Chapter 1985. The Blue Thunder Mountain Range was a huge mountain range in the northwest of the soul-fighting continent. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the mountains from time to time. Demonic beasts roamed about, making it very dangerous. Rumble! Suddenly, a blurry figure fell from the sky and landed in the depths of the Blue Thunder Mountain Range. The terrifying impact flattened an area of several miles around the Blue Thunder Mountain Range. What happened up ahead? Why is there such a terrifying destructive force? Looking at the chaotic space in the distance, a gray-robed old man with a slightly sallow face and traces of blood on his body suddenly became alert. Elder Chiu, do you think a treasure has appeared? A middle-aged man with a deep scar on his face and sharp eyes looked at the flattened mountain range and asked in a low voice. It doesn't look like it. I have never seen a treasure with such destructive power. The gray-robed old man shook his head and said, Su Lin, go ahead and take a look. See what happened. Yes, Elder Chiu. A short but extremely agile man nodded. He retracted his aura and quickly approached the dust-filled mountain area where the aftershocks had yet to subside. After a while, Su Lin returned with a man who was covered in blood and had a weak aura. He was unconscious. The man on his shoulder was the severely injured Yi Chunfeng, who had escaped to the lower realm through the space transmission array. Originally, the space transmission array should have sent Yi Chunfeng to Sky Beyond, but the sword of the man in black light had not only severely injured Yi Chunfeng but also damaged the transmission array. If Yi Chunfeng had not forcefully torn open the space transmission array before he fainted, he would have been in a very dangerous situation with his injuries. Su Lin, who did you bring back? Looking at the unconscious Yi Chunfeng on Su Lin's shoulder, Elder Chiu frowned slightly and asked in a low voice. I found this person in the mountains up ahead. He is very likely unlucky and was heavily injured by the destructive force just now. Su Lin said. Su Lin, in the area up ahead, apart from this person, did you find anything else? Elder Chiu frowned slightly. No. Su Lin shook his head and said, I didn't find any traces of treasures in the mountains ahead, nor did I find anyone suspicious. Elder Chiu, this person's origins are unknown, and we are in danger. Why don't we abandon him and let him fend for himself? The scarred man glanced at Yi Chunfeng, who was severely injured and seemed to be on the verge of death, and said, All right. Elder Chiu nodded and said. Just as Su Lin placed Yi Chunfeng on the ground and was about to leave, the unconscious Yi Chunfeng suddenly opened his eyes and woke up. He's awake. He actually woke up after suffering such heavy injuries. Seeing Yi Chunfeng suddenly awaken, Elder Chiu and the others were surprised. They were shocked by Yi Chunfeng's tenacious vitality. Grandpa Chiu, since this person is not destined to die, why don't we save him? A young man with a slightly pale complexion, who was not very tall, wore gorgeous clothes, looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was severely injured and unconscious once again. He felt pity for him and begged softly. Young master, we can't even protect ourselves now. Bringing him along will only harm him. Elder Chiu glanced at the dying Yi Chunfeng and said with some difficulty. But if we abandon him, he will still die. The young man in luxurious clothes couldn't help but say. All right, then let's bring him along and leave Green Thunder Mountain first. In the end, under the pleas of the young man in luxurious clothes, Elder Chiu, who was a level 3 combat beast emperor, made a prompt decision. He ordered someone to carry the unconscious Yi Chunfeng and continue to cross Green Thunder Mountain. At this time, Yi Chunfeng seemed to be unconscious, but his consciousness was very clear. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to continuously devour the remaining invincible sword power in his body. As long as he dispelled the sword power that was constantly destroying his body, with his means and foundation, he could heal his body in minutes. About 8 hours later, the sky gradually darkened. Elder Chiu and his group arrived at a secluded valley in the Blue Thunder Mountain to take a rest. Gulp! The unconscious Yi Chunfeng felt a cool spring water flowing down his throat and into his body. He woke up from his coma once again. Through the burning bonfire, Yi Chunfeng saw that the person who fed him water was the young man in luxurious clothes who begged Elder Chiu to save him. Staring at the slightly sallow face of the young man in luxurious clothes, Yi Chunfeng vaguely felt a sense of familiarity from his facial features, as if he was an old friend's descendant. You're awake. Seeing Yi Chunfeng wake up from his coma, the young man in luxurious clothes was overjoyed and quickly asked, Thank you for saving me. Looking at the happy young man in luxurious clothes, Yi Chunfeng smiled and said softly. Elder Chiu and the others slowly walked over and asked, Little brother, who are you? Why are you in Green Thunder Mountain? What happened in Green Thunder Mountain before you fainted? My surname is Yi. I'm just passing by. I don't know what happened. Yi Chunfeng didn't want to be too high profile in the lower realm this time, so he vaguely said, Little brother, since you're awake, let's part ways here. Thinking of his own situation, Elder Chiu really didn't want to bring a burden with him. Everyone, are you in trouble? If so, I can help you. Yi Chunfeng slowly sat up and said. However, his injuries were too serious. His voice was extremely weak, as if he could faint at any time. You're going to help us? Su Lin and the others smiled in disbelief. They didn't believe that the dying Yi Chunfeng could help them. Grandpa Chiu, let's take Big Brother Yi with us. If we abandon him like this, he might really be in danger. The young man in luxurious clothes said kindly. Sigh, all right then. When we leave Green Thunder Mountain, we'll find a safe place to settle him down. Elder Chiu sighed softly. The night was silent. After a night of recuperation, the Chaos Divine would devoured a portion of the terrifying sword power. Yi Chunfeng's injuries slowly improved. At dawn, Elder Chiu and the others left the valley and continued to cross the Green Thunder Mountain. Big brother Yi, don't force yourself. If you can't hold on, I'll support you. Seeing Yi Chunfeng insist on not letting others support him and shuttling through the forest, the young man in luxurious clothes said worriedly, "Don't worry about me. I'm fine," Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. He had a good impression of the young man in luxurious clothes. Elder Chiu, that person is not simple. Yesterday, he was on the verge of death, but in just one night, he was actually able to walk on his own. Furthermore, he followed us closely without falling behind. Do you think there will be any problems with him? Seeing Yi Chunfeng closely following them, many people were worried. Let's not worry about that first. I estimate that we'll be able to cross the Green Thunder Mountain by evening. At that time, we'll part ways with him. If he continues to follow us, then there's a problem with him. At that time, it won't be too late for us to work together to kill him. Elder Chiu said telepathically. Ayo, ayo, ayo. Suddenly, a series of angry roars rang out. Sensing the faint smell of blood coming from Elder Chiu and the others, two huge violent earth bears, each about 30 zhang tall and at least level 6 heavenly beasts, appeared from behind a thick thicket blocking their path. Not good, it's the violent earth bears. Seeing the two violent earth bears suddenly appear in front of them with their bloody mouths wide open and roaring at them, Elder Chiu and the others' faces changed drastically. From the terrifying aura emitted by the two violent earth bears, their strength was equivalent to a level 2 combat beast emperor. They brought great pressure to Elder Chiu and the others. Leave these two violent earth bears to me. You guys quickly bring the young master and escape. At this critical moment, Elder Chiu, who was a level 3 combat beast emperor, stepped forward and prepared to take on the two violent earth bears by himself. Seeing the two violent earth bears pouncing at them, Yi Chunfeng, who was at the back of the group, glanced at the two violent earth bears. Chapter 1986. They ran away. The two violent earth bears ran away. What the hell is going on? Elder Chiu and the others were dumbfounded when they saw the violent earth bears, which were known for their ferocity, running away like two frightened rabbits. They could not believe what had just happened. Don't just stand there, let's get out of here quickly. Elder Chiu, who had regained his senses, said loudly. He immediately led the survivors and continued to cross the Blue Thunder Mountain Range. As they traversed the Green Lightning Mountain Range, the unlucky Elder Chiu and the rest were attacked by several terrifying heavenly beasts. However, like the violent earth bear, these heavenly beasts were all scared away by Yi Chunfeng's sharp gaze, causing Elder Chiu and the rest to scratch their heads in confusion. When it was almost evening, Elder Chiu and the others crossed the Blue Thunder Mountain Range safely. Huff, huff. We finally crossed the Blue Thunder Mountain Range. We should be safe now. After successfully crossing the Blue Thunder Mountain Range, Elder Chiu and the others breathed a sigh of relief, showing the joy of surviving a disaster. Little brother, after leaving the Blue Thunder Mountain Range, your crisis should be over. Why don't we part ways here? Elder Chiu took out hundreds of high-grade soul crystals and said, "These soul crystals are for you. They should be enough for you to live for a while. No hurry, it won't be too late for me to leave after I help you solve the crisis." Yi Chunfeng did not take the high-grade soul crystals and shook his head. What do you mean? Elder Chiu and the others' faces changed slightly. Look behind you. Yi Chunfeng pointed at the lush forest behind Elder Chiu and the others. Not good, it's the Western demon sex people. Elder Chiu and the others' faces changed when they saw more than 10 men wearing black robes with the word demon embroidered on them flying at an extremely fast speed. How did they know our whereabouts? The Blue Thunder Mountain Range was extremely vast. It was very difficult to accurately intercept them at the other end of the Blue Thunder Mountain Range. Is there a traitor among us? Thinking of this, Elder Chiu and the others looked at Yi Chunfeng angrily. Western Demon Sect. Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly and said, "Don't look at me like that, I didn't betray you. Who else could it be if not you? I was really blind back then, to actually save an ungrateful traitor like you." The skinny Su Lin roared angrily. "Believe it or not, but I'm not the traitor." Yi Chenfeng shook his head and pointed at the man with the scar on his face. "He is the real traitor. He leaked your whereabouts." "Impossible, Brother Lei can't be a traitor." Su Lin shook his head and refuted loudly. "No, he's right. I was the one who leaked your whereabouts." With the appearance of the Western Devil Sect's expert, the scarred man no longer concealed his identity and revealed a savage smile. "Lei Hong, you actually betrayed His Majesty." Elder Chiu and the others widened their eyes, not daring to imagine that the always loyal Lei Hong would betray them. "If His Majesty was still alive, I would never betray him. Unfortunately, His Majesty is dead, and the Eastern continent has changed. I have to rely on a stronger backer," Lei Hong said mercilessly. "His Majesty? Is His Majesty the King of Massacre?" Yi Chenfeng heard some suspicions from their conversation, and his face instantly turned gloomy. "Yes. These wolves killed my father and kidnapped my sister in order to annex the Eastern continent." The well-dressed young man clenched his fists and said angrily, "So you are Blood River's son?" Yi Chenfeng finally knew why the well-dressed young man's face was so familiar. He was actually the son of the King of Massacre. But what he didn't expect was that the King of Massacre, who had always followed him, was actually dead, and the person who killed him was most likely Mo Fengyun. "Brother Yi, you know my father?" Hearing Yi Chenfeng say the King of Massacre's real name, the well-dressed young man revealed a shocked expression. "Was Blood River killed by Mo Fengyun?" Yi Chenfeng took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. "Yes, my father was killed by that wolf, Mo Fengyun." The well-dressed young man nodded and said with red eyes, "What about Shadow Ghost? Wasn't your father protected by Shadow Ghost?" Yi Chenfeng didn't expect Mo Fengyun to have the guts to betray him. "Shadow Ghost also betrayed us. If it wasn't for Shadow Ghost severely injuring my father, that bastard Mo Fengyun wouldn't have been able to kill him," the well-dressed young man said with hatred. "This Mo Fengyun is really something. He actually tricked Shadow Ghost into betraying us." Yi Chenfeng frowned even more. "Did Ikaku also betray us?" "Uncle Ikaku didn't betray us. He was killed by Mo Fengyun, Shadow Ghost, and Golden Iron Ape in order to protect my sister and me," the well-dressed young man said. "Who exactly are you?" Elder Chiu didn't expect Yi Chenfeng to know about Shadow Ghost and Ikaku's existence. He felt that Yi Chenfeng wasn't simple. "I am an old friend of Blood River." Yi Chenfeng sighed softly and said, "I am also responsible for his death. But don't worry, I will avenge you. I will make Mo Fengyun kneel in front of Blood River's grave and repent." "Make Sect Master repent?" Lei Hong snorted and said, "Brat, who do you think you are? I think you're tired of living." "Shut up." Yi Chenfeng's pupils shrunk. He slapped the air and shattered the void. Lei Hong, who was a first-grade combat beast emperor, was sent flying. He exploded into a cloud of blood in the air and died on the spot. Witnessing this scene, everyone present was dumbfounded. Shattering the void with a single palm strike and exploding a level 1 beast emperor, Yi Chenfeng's strength had exceeded Elder Chiu's and the others' imagination. The experts of the West Devil Sect, who were blocking Yi Chenfeng's path, revealed a terrified expression. "Who are you? Are you sure you want to meddle in our business?" The leader of the Western Devil Sect summoned a heavenly treasure that floated above his head. He glared at Yi Chenfeng and shouted loudly, "Tell me, where is Mo Fengyun now?" Yi Chenfeng's cold eyes swept across the dozen or so experts of the Western Devil Sect as he ordered, "Tell me, where is Mo Fengyun now?" The leader of the Western Devil Sect braced himself and warned, "I'm warning you, the entire outer continent is controlled by Sect Master Mo now. You won't have a good ending if you go against Sect Master Mo." You talk too much nonsense. Yi Chunfeng lost his patience. He gently raised his right hand and sucked him over. He then used the God-Eater brain to search his soul. What are you all standing there for? Attack together and kill him! The leader of the Western Devil sect, who was controlled by Yi Chunfeng and was scared out of his wits, ordered in horror. However, before the dazzling heavenly treasures could touch Yi Chunfeng's body, they were shattered by the terrifying energy in his body. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng took a step forward. A terrifying energy gushed out from the bottom of his feet. Dense water ripples appeared in the air, covering a radius of a few miles. The dozen or so experts of the Western Devil sect, who couldn't dodge in time, were shattered into pieces and died on the spot. Who are you? Seeing Yi Chunfeng kill more than a dozen experts of the Western Devil sect with a single kick, the leader of the Western Devil sect was scared out of his wits and asked in horror, "I'm the master of Mo Fengyun." Yi Chunfeng's voice rang out in the leader's mind. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng exerted a little force with his right hand and crushed the leader's skull. Under the leader's horrified gaze, he was killed. "Sir, who are you?" Elder Chiu and the others were deeply shocked by Yi Chunfeng's monstrous strength and merciless slaughter. They didn't expect that the person they saved out of kindness would be a heavenly master. "When you see Mo Fengyun, you'll naturally know who I am," Yi Chunfeng said indifferently. "Let's go to the East Sea City and save Shui He's daughter." Chapter 1987. East Sea City. We have arrived at East Sea City in such a short time. The Azure Lightning Mountain Range was extremely far from East Sea City. Even if one rode a heavenly beast, it would still take a few days. However, Elder Chiu and the rest found out that they had crossed the vast territory of the eastern continent and arrived outside East Sea City in just an hour. They were in disbelief. However, they did not know that Yi Chunfeng had not recovered from his injuries and could not unleash his full strength. Otherwise, they would have appeared outside East Sea City in an instant. "Let's go. Let's enter the city." Yi Chunfeng raised his head and looked at the familiar East Sea City gate. He led the excited Elder Chiu and the rest into the bustling and prosperous East Sea City. The news of Elder Chiu and the rest appearing in East Sea City had also reached the ears of the East Sea City Lord. "What? Elder Chiu and the rest appeared in East Sea City? Are you sure?" The East Sea City Lord, who was wearing a dark blue robe, had a square face and a black beard around his mouth. He was a level 4 combat beast emperor. He put down the teacup in his hand and opened his eyes wide in disbelief. According to the information he had received, Elder Chiu and the rest should be near the Azure Lightning Mountain Range. They should not have appeared in East Sea City. "Lord, at first, we did not believe that they would walk right into the trap. However, according to our observations, they are indeed Elder Chiu and the rest," the Lord's informant said with certainty. "No, they would never walk right into the trap. They must have something to rely on since they dared to come to my East Sea City." The Lord of East Sea City pondered for a while and said with a solemn face, "Continue to observe their whereabouts. I will go and ask Elder Iron Ape." After saying that, the Lord of East Sea City, who had smelled something unusual, went to the backyard and entered the secret room where the golden Iron Ape was cultivating. "Elder Iron Ape, I have something to report." The Lord of East Sea City stood outside the secret room and said respectfully, "What happened?" The golden Iron Ape, who was soaking in the spiritual pool and had just broken through to low-grade sacred beast, opened its bell-like eyes and asked impatiently, "The King of Massacre's son, Elder Chiu and the rest have appeared in East Sea City." The Lord of East Sea City did not dare to enter the secret room and disturb the golden Iron Ape's cultivation. "Disturb my cultivation because of this trivial matter? Are you tired of living?" The golden-haired Iron Ape said furiously. "Senior Iron Ape, please calm down." The Lord of Eastern Sea City was terrified by the golden-furred Iron Ape. He explained in fear, "This matter is a little strange." If they did not have absolute confidence, they would not dare to take the risk and come to my Eastern Sea city. Backing? What's your backing? The golden-furred iron ape said arrogantly. The passage to the central world has already been sealed by the devil sect leader. Who do you think will come and save them now? What is this? Hurry up and scram. If you continue to disturb this king's cultivation, this king will tear you apart. The golden-haired iron ape fiercely berated. Yes. The Lord of East Sea City didn't dare to say anything more. He turned around and wanted to leave. Golden Hair, I know you're here. Come out and meet me. Suddenly, a deep and resounding voice boomed above the East Sea Castellan Manor like a thunderclap, causing the entire space to tremble. Damn it, how dare you! Watch as this king goes out and exterminates him. Although the golden-furred iron ape felt that this voice was vaguely familiar, it didn't even consider the possibility of Yi Chunfeng descending to the lower realm. It took a step out of the huge spiritual pool, put on a loose golden robe, and walked out of the secret chamber. At this time, chaos broke out outside the Castellan Manor. The impregnable Castellan Manor's gate was shattered by Yi Chunfeng's stomp. More than 10 experts of the Castellan Manor were sent flying by Yi Chunfeng with a wave of his hand. They fell to the ground a few hundred meters away and couldn't get up. Qiuming, you've got guts. You actually dared to ask for reinforcements to cause trouble in Eastern Sea City. I will skin you alive today. An old man wearing a dark green robe with a poisonous python coiled around his arm and a long beard walked out of the chaotic manor. He glared at Yi Chunfeng and his group. Young Master Yi, this man is the right-hand man of Eastern Sea City's Castellan. He is a level 5 Beast Emperor, and his arm, Elder Chiu, explained the green-robed old man's background through telepathy. However, before he could finish, Yi Chunfeng stretched out his hand and condensed a huge palm out of thin air. It directly crushed the green-robed old man and the poisonous python in his hand into meat paste, killing them on the spot. Just a small fry, there's no need for an introduction. After killing the green-robed old man with a single palm, Yi Chunfeng's expression didn't change as he said indifferently. Small fry, a level 5 Beast Emperor is a small fry. Elder Chiu and the rest revealed a bitter smile. They couldn't imagine how terrifying Yi Chunfeng's strength was. Ao, which small fry called this king's name just now? The golden-furred iron ape with blood-red eyes and sharp fangs appeared together with the Castellan of Eastern Sea City and roared ferociously. Not good, the golden-furred iron ape is actually in Eastern Sea City. Elder Chiu and the rest knew how terrifying the golden-furred iron ape was. Facing it, they couldn't help but lack courage and fear. Golden-furred iron ape, I haven't seen you for 100 years. You're getting bolder and bolder. Yi Chunfeng's deep eyes emitted a cold light as he swept his gaze across the golden-furred iron ape with murderous intent and said coldly, 1. When the golden-furred iron ape with blood-red eyes saw Yi Chunfeng in white, it felt as if it was struck by lightning. Its soul trembled and it was stunned. Brat, I don't care who you are. Today, I, the Castellan, will skin you alive. The Castellan of Eastern Sea City didn't recognize Yi Chunfeng and didn't notice the golden-furred iron ape's terrified look. But just as he finished his words, the golden-furred iron ape stretched out its furry hand and slapped the Castellan of Eastern Sea City. The terrifying strength of the slap almost caused the Castellan of Eastern Sea City's head to explode. Large amounts of blood flowed out from his 7 orifices as he fell to the ground. Senior Iron Ape you. The Castellan of Eastern Sea City didn't even dream that the golden-furred iron ape would slap him in public. He was stunned. But in the next moment, he saw the sacred and inviolable golden-furred iron ape in front of him. He trembled in fear and knelt on the ground in front of everyone, constantly kowtowing. Young Master Yi, I know my mistake. I really know my mistake. I beg you to spare me. I won't dare to do it again. The golden-furred iron ape was really afraid and kept begging for Yi Chunfeng to spare it. Golden Fur, you have disappointed me. Yi Chenfeng shook his head and said, "Let me ask you, is Shui He's death related to you?" "No, no." The golden-furred iron ape shook its head vigorously and said, "Shui He was killed by Mo Fengyun. It has nothing to do with me." "Is that so? Then why didn't you stop Mo Fengyun when he killed Shui He?" Yi Chenfeng didn't believe the golden-furred iron ape's words at all. He said coldly, "Moreover, I see that you have been living quite comfortably recently. It seems like Mo Fengyun has given you quite a lot of benefit." "Young Master Yi, I know my mistake. I am willing to atone for my sins by helping you deal with Mo Fengyun." One had to know that Yi Chenfeng would suddenly descend to the lower realm. Even if it was given 100 guts, it wouldn't dare to betray him. But at this moment it knew that no matter how much it explained, it would be useless. If it wanted to live, it could only obtain Yi Chenfeng's forgiveness. "Do I need your help to kill Mo Fengyun?" Yi Chenfeng said with a murderous aura. "Golden Fur, come over and let me search your soul. If Shui He's death really has nothing to do with you, I can spare your life." "Yes, yes." The golden-furred iron ape struggled to get up. When it walked towards Yi Chenfeng, it suddenly ignited its powerful blood and used blood escape to escape. Humph! The moment the golden-furred iron ape tried to escape, Yi Chenfeng snorted coldly. Suddenly, the golden-furred iron ape's body exploded in the void and turned into a cloud of blood mist. It died on the spot. With a snort, he killed the low-grade sacred beast golden-furred iron ape in an instant. Chapter 1988. Plop, plop. Witnessing Yi Chenfeng's shocking methods, the Eastern Sea City Lord and the others, who had been so aggressive just a moment ago, were so scared that they all knelt on the ground and kowtowed continuously, begging Yi Chenfeng to spare their lives. Yi Chenfeng did not start a massacre and only killed the East Sea Governor and a few others. After killing the golden-furred iron ape and the East Sea Governor, Yi Chenfeng unexpectedly found out that Shui He's daughter had been secretly sent to the top city in the eastern continent, East Saint City. "Let's go to East Saint City." In order to save Shui He's daughter, Yi Chenfeng did not waste any time. He summoned a transcendent sacred artifact warship and brought the stunned Elder Qiu and the others to East Saint City, which was built on the old site of the Yu family. Senior Yi, are you the one that my father always talks about? The one who has already ascended to the heaven region?" The young man in a luxurious robe mustered up his courage and came to Yi Chenfeng, who was sitting cross-legged on the deck, and asked softly, "That's me." Yi Chenfeng did not hide his identity. He nodded and said, "Son, your father's death has something to do with me. But don't worry, I will avenge your father. Mo Fengyun will definitely die." Yi Chenfeng hated betrayal the most. Moreover, Mo Fengyun had killed the king of massacre, who had followed him since the beginning. "Thank you, Senior Yi." After confirming Yi Chenfeng's identity, the young man in a luxurious robe immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed gratefully. Elder Qiu and the others were even more excited. After witnessing Yi Chenfeng's shocking strength, they knew that they would be able to avenge their father soon. "Here, this elixir is for you." The young man in a luxurious robe had inherited the talent of the king of massacre. Yi Chenfeng felt guilty towards the king of massacre and decided to nurture his son. He took out a sage elixir with mild medicinal properties and handed it to the young man. Yes. The young man firmly believed in Yi Chenfeng. He took the pill and swallowed it, quickly refining it. Although the medicinal effect of this sacred pill was mild, the man was too weak. He was only a level 3 mystic beast ancestor. He couldn't withstand the power of the sacred pill at all. All the meridians in his body were instantly stretched open. Immense pain spread throughout his body, and a large amount of dirty blood flowed out through his pores. Child, cultivation is a path that defies the heavens. Without great perseverance and courage, a cultivator is destined to be eliminated. Yi Chenfeng looked at the young man in luxurious clothes who was trembling all over and clenching his teeth as he bitterly endured. He said, "Today's pain can be considered a test for you. If you can endure it, you will gain a lot. Don't worry, Senior Yi, I can hold on." When he thought about his father's vengeance and his younger sister, whose fate was unknown, the young man in luxurious clothes clenched his fists tightly and endured the tearing pain throughout his body. He didn't let out a single cry. Time passed by slowly. Looking at the young man in luxurious clothes who was drenched in dirty blood and trying his best to hold on and not give up, Yi Chunfeng revealed a gratified smile. About an hour later, the young man in luxurious clothes, who had absorbed a large amount of sacred pills, began to break through. Soon, he broke through from a level 3 mystic beast ancestor to a level 1 reverse beast king. Although his cultivation was rapidly increasing, the quality of the pills that Yi Chunfeng gave him was extremely high. It didn't affect his cultivation foundation at all. Sensing that his cultivation speed had slowed down, Yi Chunfeng took out a bottle of sacred water and poured it into his mouth to continue increasing his strength. Soon, more than 6 hours passed. The rapidly flying warship appeared in the sky above East Saint City. After more than 6 hours of painful cultivation, the young man in luxurious clothes broke through to a level 1 combat beast emperor. This scene completely shattered Elder Chiu and the others' understanding, making them feel as if they were in a dream. Let's go and take revenge. Under the cover of Yi Chunfeng's powerful soul power, he locked onto Mo Fengyun, Shadow Ghost, and the others in the Saint Palace and immediately brought Elder Chiu and the others to the Saint Palace. "Who's there?" Seeing Yi Chunfeng and the others descending from the sky, the heavily guarded Saint Palace immediately activated a huge restriction. Restriction light swords flew out and attacked Yi Chunfeng and the others. Yi Chunfeng quickly struck out a palm in the face of the densely packed restriction light swords. The terrifying palm light directly shattered the space within a radius of several miles, shattering the restriction light swords and the enormous restriction light sword. The huge explosion alarmed the entire Saint Palace. "What's going on?" Mo Fengyun, who was enjoying himself in a spirit pool while hugging 2 seductive women in chiffon dresses, jumped out of the spirit pool, put on his clothes, and walked out in a hurry. In addition to him, Shadow Ghost and the others also hurried out and came to the spacious white jade square of the Saint Palace to see what was going on. "It's you! It's you!" When Shadow Ghost, who had reached the pinnacle of the Nirvana realm, saw Yi Chunfeng, who was dressed in white, standing proudly, he was scared silly like the golden-haired iron ape. He didn't know what to do. "Why, are you surprised to see me?" Yi Chunfeng said calmly. However, his tone was filled with dense killing intent that terrified Shadow Ghost. Young Master Yi, the mastermind is Mo Fengyun. I was forced to do this." Although Shadow Ghost didn't know how terrifying Yi Chunfeng's strength was, he knew that he was no match for Yi Chunfeng. He could only push all the blame to Mo Fengyun. "Shadow Ghost, I left you in the Eastern Continent to assist the King of Massacre and stabilize the Eastern Continent. I didn't let you help the evildoers," Yi Chunfeng said sternly as he walked step by step towards the trembling Shadow Ghost. "Young Master Yi, I was wrong. Please spare my life." Shadow Ghost kept begging for mercy. "If Blood River hadn't died, I might have spared your life. Unfortunately, you killed Blood River and cut off your own path of retreat," Yi Chunfeng said coldly. "Young Master Yi, Blood River was killed by Mo Fengyun. It wasn't me," Shadow Ghost said fearfully. "If you hadn't severely injured my father, would Mo Fengyun have been able to kill him?" The young man in the luxurious robe said angrily as he looked at Shadow Ghost, who had killed one of the executioners of the King of Massacre. No, I was really forced." Shadow Ghost was in despair. His clothes were drenched in cold sweat as he tried to think of a way. However, in the face of absolute strength, he knew that he could only live if he earned Yi Chunfeng's forgiveness. Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any more words. He intertwined a sharp sword shadow and slashed at Shadow Ghost. Shadow Ghost, go to hell and repent to Blood River. Chi. Shadow Ghost's entire body was cleaved in half by this sharp sword shadow. A deep sword mark was left on the square paved with white jade. Lord Shadow Ghost is dead. Looking at Shadow Ghost lying in a pool of blood, dead, the experts of the sacred palace sank into deep fear. Not a single one of them dared to attack Yi Chenfeng. At this time, Mo Fengyun appeared with several experts of the Western Devil sect. When his angry eyes met Yi Chenfeng's, his heart trembled. Chapter 1989. Mo Fengyun, why are you trembling? Are you afraid? Yi Chenfeng smiled coldly as he looked at the pale Mo Fengyun, who had fallen into deep fear. Young Master Yi, you have come to the lower world. Mo Fengyun dared to betray him because he was betting that Yi Chenfeng would not come to the lower world after ascending to the heaven region. However, he did not expect that Yi Chenfeng would come to the lower world so soon. His heart was filled with fear and panic. Yes, if I didn't come to the lower world, you would have overturned the outer continent. Yi Chenfeng crossed his hands behind his back and looked coldly at Mo Fengyun. Mo Fengyun, I have a whole new level of respect for you. You even dared to kill Shuehe. It seems like you don't take me seriously. How do you think I should punish you? You are Yi Chenfeng. Standing behind Mo Fengyun, a skinny man in a black robe spoke in a cold voice. Humph, you are just a lonely soul. You have no right to speak. Yi Chenfeng had already discovered that there was a powerful honorable realm soul in the skinny man's body. However, such a soul could be domineering in the fighting spirit continent. In front of him, he could destroy it with a flick of his finger. Boy, you are courting death. A dense soul light emitted from the eyes of the shriveled man. Then, a formidable soul power broke out from his shriveled body. It transformed into a stormy sea, and dyed the entire void black. What kind of power is this? Elder Chiu and the others were shocked when they saw the power of the skinny man. Boy, let me dig out your heart and drink your blood. Let's see if you can still be so arrogant then. As he spoke, his billowing soul force turned into a ghost claw and grabbed at Yi Chenfeng. The terrifying ghost claw tore through the void and attacked. Yi Chenfeng glanced at it. In an instant, the terrifying ghost claw was torn apart by Yi Chenfeng's glare. What? The skinny man's eyes widened as a look of horror appeared on his cold and arrogant face. Without even thinking about it, he immediately fled out of the Saint Palace. However, just as he flew into the air, he suddenly let out a painful howl. His entire body instantly exploded, turning into a cloud of blood mist. He died on the spot. Seeing Yi Chenfeng kill the honorable realm devil soul without even moving, Mo Fengyun was scared out of his wits. His legs went soft, and he knelt on the ground, kowtowing repeatedly. Mo Fengyun, do you think that kowtowing will work now? Yi Chenfeng asked coldly. Young Master Yi, I know it's useless to say anything, but I was really forced to do it. It was that venerable realm devil soul that forced me to betray you and kill Shuehe. Mo Fengyun continued to defend himself. Are you done? Yi Chenfeng listened to Mo Fengyun's explanation in silence, but there was no change in his expression. Young Master Yi, you can't kill me. If you kill me, Shuehe's daughter will be buried with me. Sensing that Yi Chenfeng had no intention of letting him go, Mo Fengyun gritted his teeth and used Shuehe's daughter to threaten Yi Chenfeng. Mo Fengyun, aren't you overestimating yourself? Do you think that I will let you harm Shuehe's daughter? Yi Chenfeng sneered and ordered the Soul Devourer's brain to devour Mo Fengyun's soul. Ah! Mo Fengyun's soul was quickly shattered in a painful howl. The immense pain tormented him, and a large amount of blood flowed out from his 7 orifices. Mo Fengyun, I'll kill you! Looking at Mo Fengyun's head that was cracking bit by bit, the young man gritted his teeth and took out a sharp dagger. He quickly ran over and stabbed Mo Fengyun's stomach a few times. Suddenly, a large amount of blood spurted out, and Mo Fengyun's vitality weakened. Father, I've avenged you! The young man chopped off Mo Fingyun's head, ending his life and avenging the king of massacre. With Mo Fingyun's death, the entire sacred palace fell into chaos. Many of the Western devil sex experts who had blood on their hands wanted to take advantage of the chaos to escape. However, under the cover of Yi Qinfeng's terrifying soul, none of the Western devil sex experts managed to escape from the sacred palace. All of them were killed by Yi Qinfeng's terrifying soul. Soul Devourer's brain, retrieve. After killing the Western devil sex experts, Yi Qinfeng immediately retrieved Mo Fengyun and the Soul Devourer's brain. Child, come here. Yi Qinfeng still had a lot of things to do in the lower realm and couldn't stay in the sacred palace for a long time. He summoned Xia Wendy's sword puppet. This sword puppet is for you. It can protect you 10 times. After 10 times, the sword puppet's energy will be depleted and it will become an ownerless object. Yi Qinfeng dripped his blood on the sword puppet and said, "Also, this universe ring is for you. The pills inside should be enough for you to break through to the 6th grade combat beast emperor realm in a short time." "Thank you, Senior Yi." The young man knelt on the ground and respectfully kowtowed to Yi Qinfeng 3 times. "Alright, all good things must come to an end. Let's part ways here. After some time, I will find someone to clean up the mess. I also hope that you can manage the outer continent well and stabilize it." With that, Yi Qinfeng left the chaotic sacred palace and headed to the Xingluo continent. He wanted to test Qiangu Qiu and retrieve the Soul Devourer's brain. After arriving at the Xingluo continent, Yi Qinfeng visited the Bai family, the Jiang family, and the Jasper Palace to learn about the Xingluo Heavenly City. To Yi Qinfeng's relief, the Xingluo Heavenly City was flourishing under Qiangu Qiu's leadership. Not only was there no chaos, but it was also growing stronger. The overall strength of the Xingluo continent had increased significantly. "Oh right, Senior Bai, is Ziqing not in the Bai family?" Yi Qinfeng asked in surprise when he didn't sense Bai Ziqing's aura in the Bai family. Ziqing went to the central world to pursue a higher level of cultivation. Bai Feng said, "Oh right, Qingfeng, how long will you stay in the lower realm?" Bai Feng and the others didn't expect to see Yi Qinfeng again in their lifetime. They wanted to ask him to stay for a few more days and learn more about the heavenly domain. "I won't be staying in the lower realm for long. I'll be returning to the heavenly domain soon." Although the heavenly domain was filled with dangers, Yi Qinfeng couldn't stay in the Duhan continent for too long because the desolate tomb was about to appear. "Seniors, these 3 spatial rings are for you. They should be enough for you to break through a few realms and increase the strength of your family. I believe that we will meet again one day." Before leaving, Yi Qinfeng gave Bai Feng, Kong Sungchen, and the others 3 spatial rings before leaving the Bai family manor. He went to the Xingluo Heavenly City to find Qiangu Qiu, who was cultivating. 3 days later, Yi Qinfeng took away Qiangu Qiu's Soul Devourer's brain and left him with a large amount of cultivation resources. He left the Xingluo continent for the central world without any hesitation. The gate to the heavenly domain is open. I hope nothing bad happens to the central world. When the Lord of the Dark North ascended, the gate to the heavenly domain was torn apart by Tai Yi. Yi Qinfeng was worried that the various races would send experts to the lower realm after knowing that their inheritances in the Duhan continent were destroyed. If that happened, the central world would be in danger. Chapter 1990. The War God Mountain was a famous divine mountain in the ethereal divine nation. It was also one of the tallest mountains in the ethereal divine nation. What kind of event is going on at the War God Mountain? Why are Senior Sister Fu and Ziqing here? When Yi Qinfeng passed by the War God Mountain, he unexpectedly sensed Fu Yue and Bai Ziqing's auras. A look of surprise appeared on his face. With a flash of his body, he stealthily entered the snow-covered peak of the War God Mountain. So it's a martial arts competition. When Yi Qinfeng passed through a thin layer of restriction, he discovered that a martial arts competition was going on at the peak of the War God Mountain. Numerous disciples with extraordinary talent were fighting fiercely on two impregnable arenas that were half a zhang tall. So Ziqing is here to participate in the martial arts competition. After waiting for a while, Yi Chunfeng discovered that Bai Ziqing had entered the stage. She was fighting fiercely with a white-robed man with an extraordinary bearing. After not seeing each other for 100 years, Bai Ziqing had also reached the level of a level 3 beast emperor. Furthermore, Yi Chunfeng discovered that her cultivation foundation was extremely solid, and the techniques she had mastered were extremely profound. She was not at a disadvantage when facing the level 4 beast emperor in white. Goddess, go for it! Goddess will win! Below the stage, many young disciples were cheering for Bai Ziqing with all their might. The atmosphere at the peak of the War God Mountain was getting more and more lively. I didn't expect Ziqing to be so popular. Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile when he saw Bai Ziqing executing profound sword moves and completely suppressing her opponent. Who are you? How dare you call out the goddess's name? Suddenly, a discordant voice entered Yi Chunfeng's ears. An expert from the Central World, who was infatuated with Bai Ziqing, glared at Yi Chunfeng. I'm an old friend of hers. Yi Chunfeng ignored the other party's hostile gaze and revealed a faint smile. An old friend? Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? The man who was infatuated with Bai Ziqing said, I advise you to give up. The goddess is already taken. Have you seen it yet? Young Master Fengyun is right there. Look at him, then look at you. Which part of you do you think is better than young Master Fengyun? Young Master Fengyun. Following the direction of the man's finger, Yi Chunfeng saw a man in a white robe with a sharkskin sword hanging on his back. He was tall and had an extraordinary bearing. Nirvana, not bad. Yi Chunfeng had always treated Bai Ziqing as his younger sister. Knowing that she had found her own happiness, he was sincerely happy for her. Just as Yi Chunfeng wanted to leave quietly, Bai Ziqing defeated her opponent with an absolute advantage and entered the top 4. The goddess is invincible, the goddess is number 1. With Bai Ziqing's victory, the entire War God Mountain summit was filled with excited cheers. The atmosphere instantly reached its peak. Bai Ziqing successfully entered the top 4. Immediately, 2 contestants leaped onto the stage and prepared for the next match. Suddenly, the 2-star Dao Saint Fu Yue, who was in charge of the Battle God Mountain's pinnacle martial competition, suddenly appeared on the battle arena. She said loudly, The two of you, wait a moment. I want to challenge someone. What? Just as Fu Yue's voice fell, the entire War God Mountain summit was in an uproar. Countless pairs of shocked gazes were directed at Fu Yue. Heavens, what's wrong with Imperial Preceptor Fu? Who is she going to challenge? Could it be that Imperial Preceptor Fu saw a mortal enemy? Discussions broke out around the battle arena. They all wanted to know who exactly Fu Yue was going to challenge. Sigh, Senior Sister Fu, why are you doing this? Yi Chunfeng rubbed his nose and sighed softly. He knew that Fu Yue had discovered him. Hey, where are you going? The man who was mocking Yi Chunfeng saw Yi Chunfeng walking towards the battle arena and immediately called out to him. I'm going to accept a challenge. Yi Chunfeng smiled at him and said, Hey, are you crazy? Isn't Imperial Preceptor Fu challenging? But before he could finish his words, he discovered that the goddess in his heart, Bai Ziqing, had flown over and directly jumped into Yi Chunfeng's embrace. What is going on? Who is he? Almost everyone had the same thought as that man. Even the usually calm young Master Fengyun's eyes twitched violently. Chunfeng, I'm not dreaming, right? You're back. Bai Ziqing was so emotional that her eyes were brimming with hot tears. She hugged Yi Chunfeng tightly and wasn't willing to let go. Yeah, I just came back not long ago. Yi Chunfeng patted Bai Ziqing's head lightly and said, All right, let's catch up later. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng let go of the emotional Bai Ziqing and stepped on the void to the battle arena. Take this. Without waiting for Yi Qinfeng to speak, an azure sky rock phantom appeared from Fu Yue's body. She held two saint-ranked dual blades in her hands and intertwined them to form incomparably sharp blade shadows. She launched a ferocious attack on Yi Qinfeng. The tide-like blade shadows instantly annihilated Yi Qinfeng. So powerful! This kind of impenetrable blade technique is impossible to dodge. Yeah, didn't you see that guy opposite her? He's not moving at all. He's probably scared silly. Witnessing Fu Yue's shocking speed sword technique, everyone present was stunned. Boom! The sturdy battle arena trembled violently as it withstood the tide-like blade shadows. Yi Qinfeng stood at the same spot without moving, but Fu Yue's blade shadows didn't hurt him at all. This puzzled the crowd. This is Grand Preceptor Fu acting with him? It must be an act. Otherwise, how could he dodge such a concentrated attack without moving at all? Just as everyone was stunned by the scene before them, Fu Yue continued to attack Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng was still standing at the same spot without moving. The layman watched the show, while the expert watched the skill. In the eyes of some people, Yi Qinfeng was standing at the same spot without moving. But in the eyes of a few people with extraordinary strength and keen eyesight, they felt that every time Fu Yue attacked, Yi Qinfeng moved. But because his speed was too fast, it created an illusion that he didn't move at all. At the end of the fierce battle, Fu Yue, whose face was slightly red, felt tired. The entire battle arena was riddled with holes from her ferocious attack. However, Yi Qinfeng still stood in the same spot calmly, and did not move an inch. "Thank you for showing mercy, Senior Fu." Seeing that Fu Yue had stopped attacking, Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly. "Stinking brat, what realm have you reached now? Can you let me see it?" Fu Yue didn't expect that after using all her strength, she couldn't even touch Yi Qinfeng's sleeves. She was shocked and wanted to know Yi Qinfeng's current strength. Alright. Yi Qinfeng knew Fu Yue's personality. She wouldn't give up until she got what she wanted. He took a step forward. With one step, the wind and clouds changed. The space Dao intent on the peak of Mount War God was changed by Yi Qinfeng. The snowy world disappeared and was replaced by the sound of birds, the fragrance of flowers, and the lush green grass. Flowers bloomed one after another. The thick fragrance of the flowers wafted into the noses of the petrified crowd, making them feel as if they were in a dream. It felt unreal. Flowers bloomed with a single step. Chapter 1991. News of Yi Qinfeng's return spread like the wind into ethereal imperial palace, causing the entire palace to fall into ecstasy. Shui Piaoling, who was in charge of ethereal imperial palace, even held a banquet in the palace to welcome Yi Qinfeng's return. Sister Piaoling, Qingxue and Xia are not in ethereal divine nation? Yi Qinfeng came to ethereal imperial palace, and did not see Ji Qingxue and Xia. Qingxue and Xia have returned to Zijin Kingdom. Shui Piaoling said. Qingxue, Xia's cultivation talent is ordinary. Returning to Zijin Kingdom is indeed the best choice. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "Oh right, Sister Piaoling, has there been any big changes in Central World recently? My ethereal divine nation has not changed much, but Hanyan's nine-sword divine nation seems to be abnormal. I have already sent many people to secretly infiltrate nine-sword divine nation to gather information," Shui Piaoling said. Nine-sword divine nation is abnormal. Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly and decided to go to nine-sword divine nation tomorrow. He would not allow anything to happen to nine-sword divine nation. Nine-sword divine nation, a new nation established by Yi Qinfeng after severing the demon race's inheritance, was controlled by Empress Shui Hanyan. Something really happened to Nine-Sword Divine Nation. When Yi Qinfeng crossed Ethereal Divine Nation and arrived outside Nine-Sword Imperial City, he found that Nine-Sword Imperial City was heavily guarded. Anyone who entered the city had to undergo strict inspection before they could enter. Yi Chunfeng seemed to be transparent as he entered the city in front of armored guards. He found that there were many experts in Nine-Sword Imperial City. He suspected that Shui Hanyan had mobilized all the experts in Nine-Sword Divine Nation. As Yi Chunfeng walked, he suddenly heard a commotion. Several humongous thunder beasts pulled richly ornamented carriages flying through the air and into the Nine-Sword Imperial Palace. "Look, it's the Thunder Clan! Look, there are also people from Burial Valley. What exactly happened to my Nine-Sword Divine Nation? Why did such a rarely seen great figure suddenly appear? I heard that many cities in my Nine-Sword Divine Nation went out of control, and one city was even massacred." "What, massacred a city? Who is this person? How dare he slaughter a city controlled by my Nine-Sword Divine Country? I don't know about that, but I believe that Her Majesty will definitely be able to quell the chaos." Hearing the whispers on the street, Yi Chunfeng furrowed his brows tightly. Now that the three divine kingdoms were united against a common enemy, there were not many people who dared to ignore the threat of the three divine kingdoms and insist on opposing Nine-Sword Divine Kingdom. "It seems like someone from the heavenly realm has come down to the lower realms," Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself as he slowly walked towards the Nine-Sword Imperial Palace. "Senior Lei, big brother, second brother, third sister, fourth brother, you're all here." Shui Hanyan was wearing a golden phoenix embroidered robe and a golden phoenix coronet. Her figure was enchanting, and her temperament was noble. Her cold and intelligent eyes were so enchanting that people didn't dare to look straight at them. Shui Hanyan personally invited Lei Yi Tianji and the others into the palace. "Hanyan, what happened?" Lei Yi, who was a 5-star Dao saint, looked at Shui Hanyan, who had a trace of fatigue between her eyebrows, and asked in a dignified voice. "According to the news from my Nine-Sword Divine Country, it seems that someone from the heavenly realm has come down to the lower realms." Shui Hanyan ordered someone to pour tea for Lei Yi and the others and revealed an important piece of information. "What, someone from the heavenly realm has come down to the lower realms?" Although the three divine kingdoms were thriving day by day, and their strength had increased significantly with the resources left behind by Yi Chunfeng before he ascended, compared to the Almighty of the heavenly realm, their strength was still too far away. "Yes, it's the demon race." Shui Hanyan nodded and said, "They slaughtered the demon Wind City to give me a warning. If there's no other way, we can ask for help from Senior Di Mia and Senior Jiotian of the Ethereal Divine Kingdom. With their strength in the Heavenly Master Realm, they might be able to intimidate the Almighty of the demon race in the heavenly realm." Lei Yi pondered for a moment and said, "Alas, this is the only way." Shui Hanyan sighed softly, deeply worried. "Your Majesty, Hall Master Xian of the Heavenly Palace, Senior Tao Addict and the others have come to the Imperial City." When Shui Hanyan and the others were discussing countermeasures, a guard walked into the main hall and reported respectfully, "Let's go out and welcome Hall Master Xian and Senior Tao Addict." With that, Shui Hanyan led Lei Yi and the others to the outside of the Golden Palace to welcome Xian Hongjing, Tao Addict and the others. The arrival of Xian Hongjing, Tao Addict and the others made the entire Nine-Sword Golden Palace lively. A large number of experts from the Imperial Palace appeared and accompanied Shui Hanyan to welcome Xian Hongjing, Tao Addict and the others. "Look, that's Fairy Jiao. She's really as beautiful as the legends say." Gu Qingqing and Gu Qinghua should be referring to Fairy Jiao. Yes, such a beautiful woman. If I have a chance to get close to her, I'm willing to give up 10 years of my life. Hey, you guys don't want to live anymore. If Her Majesty knows that you dare to blaspheme Fairy Jiao, you're dead meat. A valiant woman in silver armor warned coldly. She had a curvaceous figure and light makeup on her face. Yes, Commander Su, we know we're wrong." The two Imperial guards stuck out their tongues and said fearfully, "Fairy Jiao." Suddenly, a chuckle came from the crowd and attracted the attention of the valiant woman. "Who are you? How did you sneak in?" Looking at Yi Chenfeng's unfamiliar face, the valiant woman suddenly became alert. She pulled out a sharp long sword and glared at Yi Chenfeng. I didn't sneak in. I walked in through the palace gate, Yi Chenfeng said with a smile. Impossible, outsiders can't get in here. The woman didn't believe Yi Chenfeng's words at all. I'm not an outsider. Yi Chenfeng shook his head and said, I know your empress. Humph, do you think I'll believe your nonsense? The woman snorted and said, If you know what's good for you, surrender. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. Looking at the woman's hostile eyes, Yi Chenfeng shook his head and didn't say anything. He walked slowly toward the palace hall. Stop, if you don't stop, don't blame me for being rude to you. The woman was angry when she saw Yi Chenfeng ignoring her. She warned loudly. Hearing the woman's warning, a large number of imperial guards appeared and surrounded Yi Chenfeng. Sigh, I really know your empress. Yi Chenfeng sighed helplessly and disappeared from the encirclement as if he had teleported. Oh no, enemy attack! Looking at Yi Chenfeng, who suddenly disappeared, the woman and the others' faces changed and they rushed into the palace hall. However, the moment they rushed into the palace hall, they were stunned by the scene in front of them. In their eyes, the Empress Shui Hanyan, who was sacred and inviolable, and Jiao Yuyan, who was more beautiful than a fairy, rushed into the arms of the man who had just attacked them and didn't want to let go for a long time. Who is that man? Chapter 1992. Your Majesty, you're in such a good mood. Just as Yi Chenfeng was ignoring the dumbfounded gazes and hugging Shui Hanyan tightly, a cold voice suddenly rang out in the silent palace hall. In the next moment, a man in a black robe, exuding a strong demonic aura, walked over step by step in the void. With every step he took, the space trembled. His terrifying aura was even stronger than Lei Yi, Dao Addict, Tianji, and the others. 6-star demonic saint. Yi Chenfeng gently patted Shui Hanyan and Jiao Yuyan's shoulders. He looked at the black-robed man who suddenly broke in and found that he was a 6-star demonic saint. It turned out that Yi Chenfeng had killed the demonic saint of the 8-head divine nation. There was no other demonic saint of this level in the Duhan continent. Therefore, Yi Chenfeng was sure that this was a demonic saint who had just descended. Who are you? Shui Hanyan quickly wiped away the remaining tears of excitement in her eyes. Looking at the arrogant black-robed man, she returned to her empress state and glared at him. My name is Mo Song, and I'm from the demon race of the Heaven Domain. I'm here today to pass a message to the 3 demon sovereigns. The black-robed man said coldly, If you are willing to submit to the 3 demon sovereigns, they can make the decision to spare your lives and bestow you with opportunities. Let me guess why the 3 demon sovereigns didn't come but sent you instead. Yi Chenfeng continued, either the 3 demon sovereigns were injured in the lower realm, or they couldn't figure out the foundation of the 9-sword divine nation and sent an unlucky guy like you to probe. I don't know if my guess is right. Well, who are you? You can't figure out the intentions of the 3 demon sovereigns. Mo Song's face darkened as he glared at Yi Chenfeng and said angrily, The demon sovereigns may be unreachable in your eyes, but in my eyes, even the Black Demon Emperor and the True Demon Emperor are just small characters that I can kill with a wave of my hand, Yi Chenfeng said indifferently. What big words! Today, this saint wants to see what kind of arrogance you have. Mo Song was infuriated by Yi Chenfeng's words. Billowing devil qi gushed out from his body, causing the entire golden palace to tremble violently. The guards were so frightened that they didn't dare to approach. Pa! Just as Mo Song was about to attack, Yi Chenfeng suddenly appeared in front of him. Without waiting for him to react, Mo Song was sent flying with a slap. Bang! Mo Song, who had lost control of his body, flew into the air. He could not withstand the power that surged out from Yi Chenfeng's palm, and his body directly exploded and died. Chenfeng, what realm have you reached? Seeing Yi Chenfeng slap Mo Song, the Dao Addict and the others were shocked and asked curiously. Ancestor Realm. What is the Ancestor Realm? The Tao Addict and the others didn't know much about the realms of the Void God Realm and didn't know what the Ancestor Realm was. I killed the 2 patriarchs of the Heaven Realm's Devil Clan, the Black Devil Emperor and the True Devil Emperor, as if they were chickens. Yi Chenfeng slowly said. What? Cries of surprise rang out one after another in the silent hall. Although the Tao Addict and the others didn't know how terrifying the Ancestor Realm was, they knew how terrifying the 2 patriarchs of the Heaven Realm's Devil Clan were. With their status, they could be considered the top figures in the Heaven Realm. Mo Song is dead. Let's wait for the 3 demon sovereigns to come. I want to see how many people the Devil Clan can send to the lower realm. Yi Chenfeng said in a low voice. Seeing Yi Chenfeng's terrifying strength, Shui Hanyan and the others were completely relieved. While waiting for the 3 demon sovereigns, Shui Hanyan and Zhao Yuyan were entangled with Yi Chenfeng every night. They had forgotten their feelings and were entangled with each other. As for Shui Hanyan, Zhao Yuyan, Lei Yi and the others, they were constantly breaking through the shackles of their realms with the help of resources that were enough to make a master-level expert jealous. Time flew by quickly amidst the joy. Soon, a month had passed. Just as Shui Hanyan and the others were breaking through, 3 terrifying auras appeared in the 9-sword Imperial Palace. The 3 demon sovereigns had finally appeared. Shui Hanyan, come out for me! An angry voice exploded in the sky above the 9-sword Imperial Palace. The terrifying voice shook the sky, causing cracks to appear in the sky. Although the roar released by the 3 demon sovereigns was terrifying, the people in the 9-sword Imperial Palace did not reveal the slightest trace of fear. After witnessing Yi Chenfeng's terrifying strength, they were clear that the 3 demon sovereigns were unable to stir up any wave. Their arrival was no different from sending them to their death. Not coming out? Then this sovereign will raze this place to the ground. One of the demon sovereigns revealed a sinister expression as he sent a palm strike towards the dazzling and luxurious 9-sword Imperial Palace, wanting to destroy this place. However, before his palm could land on the 9-sword Imperial Palace, it shattered like glass. This strange scene shocked the 3 demon sovereigns, causing their expressions to change slightly. Could the rumors be true? There are experts guarding this 9-sword Imperial Palace? The 3 demon sovereigns communicated via voice transmission. Just as the 3 demon sovereigns were hesitating whether they should continue to probe, a huge hand that covered the sky appeared out of thin air. With a suffocating power, it grabbed the 3 of them. Who is it? Suddenly being caught, the 3 demon sovereigns immediately released a terrifying demonic power, wanting to break free from the shackles of the huge hand. However, the difference in strength between them and Yi Chenfeng was too great. No matter how they struggled, they could not tear apart the huge hand. Soul Search. Just as the 3 demon sovereigns could no longer bear the pressure of the sky-covering hand, and their breathing became difficult, almost suffocating, Yi Chenfeng suddenly appeared beside them and used Soul Search to search their souls one by one, obtaining their soul memories. Yes, there will be a second batch of Black Demon Clan experts descending soon, and this time there is a Demon Emperor Almighty. After obtaining the important information from the 3 demon sovereign souls, Yi Chenfeng did not show mercy and directly crushed the 3 of them, killing them. Golden Dragon Bloodlion, come out! Because of its talent, the Golden Dragon Bloodlion's cultivation speed was getting slower and slower. It was almost impossible for it to break through to the 2-star Demon Ancestor Realm. Yi Chenfeng decided to leave it in the Duhan continent and let it guard this place. Dragon Bloodlion, from now on, you will stay in the Duhan continent and guard this place for me. With the Golden Dragon Bloodlion guarding the Duhan continent, Yi Chenfeng believed that even if the top almighties of the Qingyun continent came together, they would not be a threat to the Duhan continent. Yes, Master. The Golden Dragon Bloodlion also knew that as Yi Chenfeng's strength increased, it could no longer help Yi Chenfeng. Rather than that, it would be better to stay in the Duhan continent and live a carefree life. Now, go guard the entrance of the Qingyun continent and kill all the almighties of the Qingyun continent. Yi Chunfeng ordered. Yes. After that, the golden dragon blood lion flew into the sky and disappeared into the red flame sky, guarding the entrance of the Qingyun continent and waiting to kill the almighties of the lower world. Han Yen, Yuyen, wait for me in the Nine-Sword Palace. I have to go somewhere and will be back soon. After resolving the crisis of the Duhan continent, Yi Chunfeng was ready to visit Tai and inform him of the appearance of the Chaos Tomb. He wanted to find a way to get a few life-saving trump cards from him. Okay, we will wait for you. Shui Hanyan and Jiao Yuyan nodded. Chapter 1993. Senior Tai, Chingfeng wishes to see you. Although Ancestor Qi Ri had warned Yi Chunfeng to be careful of Tai Yi had a favor to ask of him. Therefore, Yi Chunfeng believed that Tai Yi would not harm him for now. Chingfeng, you've descended. Tai's voice rang out in the mysterious space, and a portal appeared. Yes, I came to the lower realm this time to bring back good news for Senior. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, the great desolate tomb has appeared. Really? Tai's eyes lit up, and his murky eyes were filled with joy. Yes, the Chaos Tomb has appeared in the monster territory of the virtual god realm, but I don't know the exact location. However, the Celestials, the Infernals, and the humans will all take action. Therefore, it will be very difficult for me to retrieve the Chaos Heart from the Chaos Tomb for you. Yi Chunfeng nodded. You didn't just descend to tell me this news, did you? Tai seemed to have seen through Yi Chunfeng's thoughts. Yes, I would like to ask Senior for a few life-saving trump cards. Otherwise, even if I obtained the Great Wasteland's heart through the Great Wasteland map, it would be impossible for me to escape from the Sky Clan, Demon Clan, and so on. Yi Chunfeng nodded. Alright, then I'll give you 2 more opportunities. Tai pondered for a moment, then summoned a crystal the size of an egg. It was full of edges and contained terrifying energy, as well as an amulet that he had spent a lot of effort to refine. This is an ultimate ancestral crystal. The ancestral power it contains is enough for you to break through to the level of a 6-star Dao ancestor. This is an amulet that I refined. It can withstand a fatal blow from a mid-level virtual god and 6 attacks from a low-level virtual god. Senior Tai, with this amulet, I'm afraid I won't be able to escape from the Celestials and Infernals. Although the amulet refined by Tai was extremely valuable, it was useless in the eyes of Supreme God Heaven and Supreme Emperor Heaven. How about this? I'll give you 2 more spatial teleportation talismans. If you can obtain the Great Desolate Heart, these spatial teleportation talismans can directly teleport you out of the Great Desolate Tomb. Tai took out 2 extremely precious spatial teleportation talismans and gave them to Yi Chunfeng. He also told him how to use them. Thank you, Senior. Compared to the protective talismans, these 2 spatial teleportation talismans were more practical. If used properly, they could indeed avoid great dangers. By the way, Senior Tai, I still have a few questions for you. Yi Chunfeng accepted the treasure that Tai had given him. Speak, Tai said. Do you know anything about the human sovereign? Yi Chunfeng asked. Human Emperor. You saw him? Tai asked in surprise. Yi Chunfeng looked at Tai Dao, who was deep in thought, and said, I have heard many rumors about the human emperor. I would like to learn more about him from you, Senior. Be careful of the human emperor. The reason I haven't dared to return to the Void God realm is because I'm worried about him, Tai said after taking a deep breath. Senior, could your injuries have something to do with the human sovereign? Thinking about what the war demon had told him, Yi Chunfeng had a bold guess. Tai hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Yes, I was injured by the human sovereign. Yi Chunfeng didn't expect that Tai's injuries were actually related to the human sovereign. He asked in shock. Then the many sacred lands of the human race during the primordial age were also destroyed by the human sovereign? Chingfeng, there are some things that you'd better not know too early. Tai Yi shook his head, not revealing any more information to Yi Chunfeng. Senior, I still have something to ask you. Please answer me. Yi Chunfeng didn't pursue the matter and changed the topic. Is Supreme God Heaven and Supreme Emperor Heaven the same person? I don't know. Tai Yi's expression froze as he shook his head. Although Tai Yi didn't give a direct answer, Yi Chunfeng could tell from his expression that he was suspicious. Senior, after some time, I will leave the Duhan continent and head to the demon realm to search for the Chaos Tomb. During my absence, I hope that you will protect the Duhan continent and not let any outsiders invade this place. Yi Chunfeng entrusted the task. Sure. Tai Yi nodded. Qingfeng, it's not easy to break through to the six-star ancestor realm. Why don't you break through at my place? I can help you at a critical moment. Tai Yi suggested. All right. Yi Chunfeng agreed. He stayed at Tai Yi's place to refine the limit ancestor crystal and try his best to break through to the six-star Dao ancestor realm. It was extremely difficult for a five-star Dao ancestor to break through to the six-star Dao ancestor realm. The energy required was even more enormous. Yi Chunfeng had just broken through to the five-star Dao ancestor realm, so it was even more difficult for him to break through to the six-star Dao ancestor realm in a short time. However, the limit ancestor crystal given to him by Tai Yi was more powerful than ordinary divine stones. With the help of the limit ancestor crystal, Yi Chunfeng's strength soared rapidly, and the ancestral power in his body grew stronger and stronger. With Tai Yi's help, Yi Chunfeng tried his best to break through to the six-star ancestor realm. Suddenly, the heaven domain gate in crimson flame sky shone with endless light. A demon emperor and 3 six-star demon venerables were teleported to the heaven domain gate through the space transmission array and entered the Duhan continent. A crimson lion. When the 4 demon emperors walked out of the heaven domain gate, they immediately discovered the golden dragon blood lion in crimson flame sky. They were surprised. This lion is strange. Why don't we join forces to destroy it first? A 6-star demon venerable suggested. Roar. Without waiting for the 4 to make a move, the golden dragon blood lion stood up and let out a shocking roar. It shattered the space within a radius of several miles and turned the 3 6-star demon venerables into blood mist, killing them on the spot. Ancestor beast. Sensing the ancestor aura emitted from the golden dragon blood lion, the demon emperor, whose soul trembled and body shattered, was scared silly. He never thought that there would be an ancestor beast in such a lowly realm. Just as he was about to retreat to the heaven realm gate in fear, the golden clear dragon blood lion opened its mouth and bit the demon emperor, swallowing him into its stomach. After swallowing the demon emperor, the golden dragon blood lion continued to guard the heaven domain gate, waiting for its prey. Days passed by. During the year when the golden dragon blood lion was guarding, the true demon race and black demon race had sent more than 10 demon emperors and demon venerables to the lower realm. However, these demon venerables and demon emperors had the same fate. They were all swallowed by the golden dragon blood lion. The continuous deaths of the demon emperors and demon venerables had completely enraged the 2 heaven domain devil races. The true demon sovereign and black demon sovereign joined forces and attacked the golden dragon blood lion from a distance. They wanted to kill the golden dragon blood lion guarding the heaven domain gate. Roar. The 2 bloodlines in the golden dragon blood lion's body burned and let out a shocking dragon roar. It shattered the golden dragon blood lion's attack and attacked the 2 demon sovereigns from a distance. PFFF. After receiving the golden dragon blood lion's roar, the powerful golden dragon blood saint artifact shattered. The 2 demon sovereigns were severely injured and almost lost their lives. This time, the 2 demon sovereigns were terrified. They quickly sealed the space transmission array and no longer dared to send anyone to the lower realm. Under the golden dragon blood lion's protection, the Duhan continent gradually regained its peace. With Tai Yi's help, Yi Chunfeng completely refined the limit of the ancestor crystal and began to break through the bottleneck again and again. He didn't know how many times he had tried to break through, but the tough bottleneck of his cultivation level had started to loosen. Finally, with Yi Chunfeng's tireless efforts and Tai Yi's help, he broke through the bottleneck and broke through to the 6-star Dao Ancestor Realm. After breaking through to the 6-star Dao Ancestor Realm, Yi Chunfeng bid farewell to Tai Yi and returned to the Nine Swords Divine Country. He stayed there for half a year to accompany Shui Hanyan and Zhao Yan. Chapter 1994. Aeon City was the first city that Yi Chunfeng had entered after ascending to the Void God world. Here, he got to know the Wei clan, trampled on the Aeon City Lord, and discovered the primeval god relic where Shunheng had used the myriad origin sword to suppress the evil god. Yes, the Wei clan is celebrating. Walking into Aeon City, Yi Chunfeng was surprised to find out that today was actually the wedding day of Wei Xinyue and Sima Xiangyu. This made him feel rather surprised. After hesitating for a moment, he slowly walked towards the pavilion where the wedding was taking place. Sima Xiangyu was the youngest son of the Sima clan, the #1 clan in Aeon City. He had always kept a low profile, but in recent years, he had suddenly become a 1-star Dao god. In order to strengthen his position, Sima Xiangyu had continuously pursued the Wei clan's princess, Wei Xinyue, and finally won her heart. Because of Yi Chunfeng, the Wei clan had always been close to the ancient clan, suppressing the other clans to become the #1 force in Aeon City. When Wei Xinyue and Sima Xiangyu got married, the ancient clan also sent people to congratulate them. "Sir, do you have an invitation?" Only those with invitations can enter the pavilion and participate in young Master Sima and Miss Wei's wedding banquet. When Yi Chunfeng arrived at the lookout pavilion, he was immediately stopped by a red-robed guard who asked politely, "I don't have an invitation. I just happened to pass by Aeon City and learned about Xinyue's wedding. I'm here to send a big gift," Yi Chunfeng said with a faint smile. The guard did not know Yi Chunfeng, but he felt that he was not simple as he felt his extraordinary temperament. "Brother Yi, I didn't expect you to come too." Just as the guard was hesitating, a deep voice suddenly sounded. Gu Hong, who was wearing a dark golden robe embroidered with cloud patterns and had a tall figure, appeared outside the lookout pavilion with several ancient clan almighties. He had met Yi Chunfeng at the 100 Battles martial competition. Gu Hong. Looking at Gu Hong, who suddenly appeared, Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile. Gu Hong, who was extremely talented and had subdued the Black Dragonwood, had broken through to the 6-star Dao God realm. This cultivation speed was enough to surpass the ancient clan, but compared to Yi Chunfeng, he was too far behind. Young Master Gu. Gu Hong's arrival immediately alarmed the entire watchtower. When Wei Shitong, Sima Ju, and the others hurriedly walked out and saw Yi Chunfeng beside Gu Hong, they revealed deep excitement and immediately invited the two of them into the watchtower. "Xianyu, congratulations on finding your Mr. Right. This heavenly jade pendant is for you." Yi Chunfeng saw the tall and beautiful Wei Xinyue, who was wearing a phoenix crown and a red robe. He gave her a jade pendant with extremely strong defensive power that could block the attacks of Ancestor Realm experts. "Thank you." Wei Xinyue took the heavenly jade pendant from Yi Chunfeng. She looked at him affectionately and said gratefully, "Xinyue is my younger sister. I hope you won't let her down." Yi Chunfeng looked at the dignified Sima Xiangyu and said indifferently, "Don't worry, young Master Yi. I definitely won't let Xinyue down." Sima Xiangyu's heart trembled as he met Yi Chunfeng's sharp gaze. "Brother Gu Hong, can I have a word with you?" The arrival of Yi Chunfeng and Gu Hong caused the entire watchtower to become even more lively. The Wei clan's reputation had reached its peak. After 3 rounds of wine, Yi Chunfeng called Gu Hong to the side. He wanted to understand the situation of the Void God realm from him in the past few years. "Brother Yi, Why are you looking for me? Gu Hong still admired Yi Chenfeng from the bottom of his heart. Although he could not feel Yi Chenfeng's true strength, he knew that he would never be able to catch up to Yi Chenfeng in his lifetime. Brother Gu Hong, I want to ask you a few things. Yi Chenfeng poured a cup of spirit wine for Gu Hong and said, Has anything big happened in the Void God realm recently? Recently, the Void God realm has been relatively stable. However, many supreme experts of the Tian clan and the Demon clan have headed to the Demon realm and sealed that place. I heard that they are all searching for the Phoenix God. Gu Hong drank a mouthful of spirit wine and said, Could it be that the Phoenix God is the key to finding the prehistoric tomb? Yi Chenfeng's eyes lit up. That is very possible. Gu Hong nodded and said, Our Gu clan originally wanted to ally with the human clan and force our way into the demon realm. However, the human sovereign, Yu Huashan, suddenly went into seclusion. Our Gu clan's overall strength is far inferior to the Tian clan and the demon clan. We had no choice but to give up. The human sovereign and Yu Huashan went into seclusion? Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly. He did not believe that the human sovereign and Yu Huashan would go into seclusion at this juncture. In order to fulfill their ambitions, they would definitely not let go of the prehistoric tomb. They suddenly announced that they were going into seclusion. They must be plotting something. Other than this, is there anything else happening in the Void God realm recently? Yi Chenfeng continued to ask. I heard that not long ago, the crown prince of the Tian clan went to the Yu Hua palace to propose marriage to the Feathermoon Saintess. However, he was rejected by the Feathermoon Saintess. Gu Hong thought for a while and said, In addition, Yu Huashan has been in seclusion. In the end, it was left unsettled. The crown prince of the Tian clan. Yi Chenfeng's eyes shone with a strong fierceness. Eunuch Heng was his wife. Whoever dared to have any ideas about her, Yi Chenfeng would not let them go. In a while, the Kunlun Holy Land will hold the human clan's martial summit. It will attract a large number of geniuses from the entire human clan to participate. Gu Hong said, I heard that the reward for the first place is very generous. Martial Summit. With Yi Chenfeng's current strength and experience, the martial summit was no longer attractive to him. Many thanks, Brother Gu Hong. Yi Chenfeng took out an ancestor pellet and handed it to Gu Hong, saying, This ancestor pellet is for you. I hope that you can break through to the ancestor realm soon. Ancestor pellet. Gu Hong was also someone who knew his stuff. He recognized the grade of the ancestor pellet at a glance and hurriedly declined, Brother Yi, this is too precious. Brother Gu Hong, if you think that this ancestor pellet is precious, then do me a favor. Help me pass a message to the Gu clan leader. Yi Chenfeng thought for a while and said, What message? Gu Hong asked. Be careful of the human sovereign. Yi Chenfeng transmitted his voice. This Gu Hong's eyes widened. Huge waves surged in his heart as he revealed a look of deep shock. Brother Gu Hong, you only need to pass this message to the Gu clan leader. He will naturally understand what I mean. Yi Chenfeng did not reveal any more information. Okay, I'll definitely pass this message. Looking at Yi Chenfeng's face, Gu Hong felt the seriousness of the situation and nodded his head heavily. Yi Chenfeng and Gu Hong secretly discussed for a while before quietly leaving the extremely lively lookout pavilion. They secretly came to the ancient god ruins and prepared to enter the ancient god ruins to take away the myriad origin sword that suppressed the evil god. Then, they would try to use the soul devourer's brain to subdue the evil god that was not dead for their own use. After all these years of cultivation in the core of the universe realm, God Eternal and God Daoshu had refined 2 territory stones and condensed a complete territory. They had broken through to the lower stage empty god realm in one go. In the War Demon's Sea of Soul, Yi Chenfeng had forcibly integrated 2 soul devourers' brains that he had just retrieved from the fighting spirit continent into Zi Lin's Sea of Soul. Chapter 1995. Entering the ancient god ruin again, Yi Chunfeng's strength was no longer the same as before. The dangers outside the ancient god ruin were no longer a threat to him. He summoned the undying wings and continued to increase his speed. He flew towards the depths of the ancient god ruin at an extremely fast speed. In less than a day, Yi Chunfeng flew above the river of death. I couldn't subdue you last time. Let's see where you can escape to this time. Yi Chunfeng knew how terrifying the river of death formed by the evil slaughter thousand flows was. The 4 ancestral Tao diagrams gushed out of his body and instantly transformed into a terrifying hand that covered the sky. It evolved the power of the sun, moon, and stars as it grabbed into the river of death. Boom! The entire river of death went berserk. The slowly flowing river was cut off by Yi Chunfeng's palm. The terrifying power shook the space within a few miles. Damn it, it's you again. What are you trying to do? After being attacked by Yi Chunfeng, the evil slaughter thousand flows artifact spirit appeared. It glared at Yi Chunfeng and roared furiously. Subdue you. Yi Chunfeng replied domineeringly. I advise you to give up. I will never submit to anyone. The evil slaughter thousand flows artifact spirit replied unyieldingly. That's not up to you. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng controlled the 4 ancestral Tao diagrams to continue forming the huge hand that covered the sky. With a terrifying pressure, it attacked the evil slaughter thousand flows artifact spirit. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? After being attacked by Yi Chunfeng, the evil slaughter thousand flows artifact spirit was enraged. It quickly mobilized the river of death's power and condensed it into a terrifying black flood dragon. It crashed into the huge hand that covered the sky and broke Yi Chunfeng's attack. God's spirit heart fuse. After his attack was broken, Yi Chunfeng immediately fused with the god spirit heart and forcibly raised his strength to the half-step progenitor realm. He summoned his ancestral sword soul and attacked the evil slaughter thousand flows artifact spirit. A sword stabbed over and the black flood dragon that shattered the huge hand that covered the sky was instantly shattered. The terrifying sword light tore through the entire space and struck the evil slaughter thousand flows artifact spirit like a bolt of lightning, forcing it to dodge in a sorry state. You, how did your strength increase so quickly? It had only been a few decades since Yi Chunfeng's last visit. The evil slaughter thousand streams artifact spirit couldn't believe that Yi Chunfeng had grown to such a level in just a few short years. Xie Sha Qianlu, submitting to me is the best ending for you. Not only you, the evil god will also submit to me soon. Yi Chunfeng said tyrannically. Humph. Although I don't know what kind of fortuitous encounters you've had these past few years, I'm afraid that with your strength, it's undoubtedly impossible for you to subdue the evil god. The evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit was a top-notch ancestral artifact of the evil race and knew how terrifying the evil god was. If not for the fact that the Myriad Origin Sword was the divine race's greatest treasure and contained unimaginable power, the evil god would have escaped long ago. How about this, let's make a bet. If you submit to me, I'll bring you to subdue the evil god. If I can't subdue the evil god, I'll immediately return your freedom. Yi Chunfeng said calmly. You think I'll believe your nonsense? The evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit said stubbornly. If you want to subdue me, then show me some real ability. Alright, since that's the case, then I'll beat you until you submit. With that, Yi Chunfeng was like an arrow that had been released from a bow. He descended from the sky and interweaved with terrifying sword power as he unleashed a ferocious attack on the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit. River of Death, destroy heaven and earth. Feeling the threat from Yi Chunfeng, the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit mobilized the River of Death's full power to attack, wanting to destroy Yi Chunfeng. Invincible Sword Body, Sword Domain. The roaring River of Death attack. Yi Chunfeng immediately activated his invincible sword body and supported the sword domain, directly breaking the River of Death's attack. Following that, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Divine Essence Pagoda, which suppressed the space within a few miles. It was like a majestic mountain that smashed into the River of Death. Divine Essence Pagoda. How did Ling Taizu's Divine Essence Pagoda end up in your hands? The evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit had clashed with the Divine Essence Pagoda in ancient times, so it knew how terrifying the Divine Essence Pagoda was. When it saw Yi Chunfeng summon Ling Taizu's Divine Essence Pagoda, it revealed an expression of disbelief. Not only do I have the Divine Essence Pagoda, I also have a Void God artifact. Yi Chunfeng summoned the Divine Sword Devourer to intimidate the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit. Myriad Swords return. When the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit was intimidated by the Divine Sword Devourer, Yi Chunfeng activated his invincible sword body to the extreme. With the Divine Sword Devourer in his hand, he transformed into tens of thousands of invincible divine swords. Like an endless river, he slashed open the River of Death and heavily injured the artifact spirit. Divine Essence Pagoda, suppress. The evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit was heavily injured by the myriad swords return. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the Divine Essence Pagoda to suppress it. It heavily smashed onto the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit, continuously worsening its injuries. Yi Chunfeng looked at the heavily injured artifact spirit that couldn't break free from the Divine Essence Pagoda's suppression and asked again, "Evil Sha Thousand Streams, will you submit or not?" "No, I am the evil race's ancestral artifact. I will only submit to the evil race." The evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit said firmly. "Half-step evil god, come out." The moment the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit said that, Yi Chunfeng summoned the half-step evil god. "Half-step evil god, you actually have a half-step evil god by your side." Feeling the terrifying aura of the half-step evil god, the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit was even more shocked. The evil race was almost wiped out. He didn't dare to imagine that Yi Chunfeng would have a half-step evil god by his side. "Artifact spirit, my patience is limited. If you still don't submit, don't blame me for destroying you. At that time, the evil Sha Thousand Streams will naturally still be mine." Yi Chunfeng warned somewhat impatiently. "Okay, I submit." The evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit took a deep look at Yi Chunfeng, who made him extremely apprehensive. Then, he looked at the half-step evil god that had already submitted to Yi Chunfeng and finally chose to submit. "I hope you didn't lie to me. Otherwise, I will definitely destroy you," Yi Chunfeng coldly warned. He took back the Divine Essence Pagoda and restored the freedom of the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit. Evil Sha Thousand Streams, condense. The artifact spirit didn't care about the injuries on his body. He forcibly extracted the River of Death and condensed it into a black chain that coiled around Yi Chunfeng's arm. Primordial blood, drip blood to bind. After subduing the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit, Yi Chunfeng immediately squeezed out a large amount of essence blood and fused it into the black chain to forcefully bind it. After seeing Yi Chunfeng's terrifying strength, the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit didn't dare to resist. In addition, the grade of the primordial blood is extremely high. Soon, Yi Chunfeng had evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit recognized him as its master. "Evil Sha, other than you, how many top-quality ancestral artifacts are there in the ancient god ruins?" Yi Chunfeng asked. The evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit appeared and shook his head. "No, other than me, there are no other top-quality ancestral artifacts in the ancient god ruins. However, there are a few high-quality ancestral artifacts." "Okay, bring me to the high-quality ancestral artifacts." High-quality ancestral artifacts are extremely precious. If they were to spread to the outside world, it would cause many races to fight over them. Under the guidance of the evil Sha Thousand Streams artifact spirit, Yi Chunfeng found many high-quality ancestral artifacts scattered in the depths of the ancient god ruins. Relying on his absolute strength, he intimidated their artifact spirits and subdued them one by one. Chapter 1996. Mo what's wrong? Looking at the weak Mo Yi Chunfeng's heart skipped a beat. He immediately walked over and asked with concern. Brother Yi, you're here? Mo who seemed to have been drained of all her energy, opened her tired eyes. When she saw Yi Chunfeng, she could not hide her joy. Come, Mo refine this divine stone. Yi Chunfeng took out a divine stone and gave it to the weak Mo to help her refine the divine stone quickly and recover her energy. About 2 hours later, Mo had refined part of the divine stone's energy and gradually recovered some of her energy. Mo what happened? Why are you so weak? Yi Chunfeng asked with concern. The evil god is about to control the universal sword and escape. The pale Mo slowly sat up and said weakly, I've used up all my energy but I can't suppress him. Mo leave the evil god to us. Yi Chunfeng glanced at the universal sword that had been partially infiltrated by the evil energy. Big brother, the evil god is very scary. You're definitely not his match. Don't let him escape or you'll die. Mo grabbed Yi Chunfeng's arm tightly and said anxiously. Don't worry, Mo. I'm here to suppress the evil god and I'm confident that I can do it. With that, Yi Chunfeng summoned Empty God, Shun Yengu, Death God, War Demon, an ancestor Fa Tian and Zi Lin, who were peak ancestor who had just broken through to Empty God level. Senior Yengu, Senior Empty God, you've broken through to Empty God level? Mo asked in surprise when she came to the universal sword. She saw Shin Yengu and Empty God, and felt that both of them had broken through to lower Empty God level. Yes, we've broken through to Empty God level, and we can suppress the evil god. Shun Yengu, who was dressed in white, nodded and said, Mo pull out the universal sword and we'll suppress the evil god together. Alright. Shun Hengu could be considered Mo's master. She nodded and communicated with the myriad origin sword that had been infiltrated by evil energy, slowly pulling it out of the quagmire of death. Ao. The moment Mo pulled out the myriad origin sword, a chilling ghostly wail rang out from the quagmire of death. The entire quagmire of death boiled up as the rolling evil aura transformed into a ferocious face, hissing at Yi Chunfeng and the others. Shin Hengu, it's actually you. You actually dared to pull out the myriad origin sword. This god will definitely destroy you today, and take revenge for my countless evil race clansmen. The ferocious face roared at Shun Hengu, causing the entire space to tremble violently. Evil god, back then, I was able to suppress you when I was at the peak of the progenitor realm. Now that this evil god has broken through to the nihility god realm, do you think that you still have a chance to take revenge? Shin Yonggu ignored the ferocious face of Ming Xiao and took a step forward as he replied in a domineering manner. As he took a step forward, a stream of divine light surged beneath his feet, tearing apart the chaotic space and blasting the ferocious face apart with a single blow. Evil god, stop hiding and come out quickly, Shun Hengu said arrogantly after blasting the ferocious face apart with a single kick. Senior Hengu, be careful. He has taken control of the myriad origin sword. Suddenly, Mo's expression changed drastically as she shouted at Shin Hengu. Divine sword swallowing sky. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng burned his primordial blood and merged with his low-level nihility god chaotic avatar. Wielding the divine sword swallowing sky, he charged forward. Bam! The divine sword swallowing sky and the myriad origin sword collided. The explosive force instantly destroyed the entire space, as though the end of the world had arrived. Pfft! After taking the myriad origin sword head-on, Yi Chunfeng's body trembled violently. Large amounts of blood spurted out from his mouth and scattered in mid-air. Middle-level nihility god. The power of the myriad origin sword was above that of the divine sword swallowing sky. Through the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng discovered that the evil god was not an ordinary nihility god but a mid-level one. Evil god, I've underestimated you. I didn't expect that after being suppressed by the myriad origin sword for so many years, not only did your realm not decline, but it even broke through. Shen Henggu, Shen Daoxiu, and the others had not expected the evil god to break through under such harsh conditions. They were extremely impressed by his vigorous vitality and his belief in pursuing the supreme path. Leave the myriad origin sword to me and Mo. Senior Henggu, use all your strength to suppress the evil god. Don't let him escape. Yi Chunfeng controlled the newly subdued evil Slaughter Thousand and the 10 ancient ancestral flags to seal the entire space as he transmitted his voice to Shen Henggu and the others. All right, be careful. Shen Henggu nodded. He summoned his supreme-grade ancestral weapons and attacked the Death Swamp. Under the combined attacks of Shen Henggu and the others, the Death Swamp was directly blasted apart, revealing the evil god that was suppressed in the deepest part of the Death Swamp. It was completely red, filled with explosive muscles, had 2 demonic horns and huge bat wings. It looked like a demon. God-demon aspect. The moment the evil god revealed his true form, Shen Daoxiu immediately condensed a 3-headed face and unleashed a terrifyingly powerful god domain to attack the evil god. As Shen Daoxiu attacked with all his strength, Shen Henggu, Reaper, and the others also activated the strongest power of their peak ancestral weapons, blasting out beams of energy that could destroy worlds at the evil god. Evil god domain. Facing the attacks of Shen Henggu and the others, the evil god suddenly opened its blood-red eyes. Its scarlet bat wings flapped violently, forming a terrifying evil god domain that forcefully blocked the attacks of Shen Daoxiu and the others. Myriad Origin Sword / As the evil god blocked the attacks of Shen Daoxiu, Shen Henggu, and the others, he used his mind to control the Myriad Origin Sword, which was permeated with evil energy, to slash at Yi Chunfeng. Emor, help me! The might of the Myriad Origin Sword was far above that of Devour the Heavens. After taking the Myriad Origin Sword's attack head-on, Yi Chunfeng's sword domain shattered and he was sent flying several hundred meters. Sensing the terror of the Myriad Origin Sword, Yi Chunfeng immediately asked for help from the Myriad Origin Sword's artifact spirit, Mo. Myriad Origin Sword, purify. Mo bit her lips and continuously communicated with the Myriad Origin Sword, forcibly purifying the evil energy that permeated the sword. Under Mo's control, the evil god gradually lost control of the Myriad Origin Sword. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Divine Essence Pagoda and suppressed the Myriad Origin Sword. Boom! The Divine Essence Pagoda and the Myriad Origin Sword collided. However, under the mountain-like suppression of the Divine Essence Pagoda, the Myriad Origin Sword didn't budge at all, but the Divine Essence Pagoda was damaged. This allowed Yi Chunfeng to witness the terror of the Myriad Origin Sword. Devour the Heavens / After the Divine Essence Pagoda failed to suppress the Myriad Origin Sword, Yi Chunfeng immediately fused his ancestral sword spirit into the Devour the Heavens and slashed at the Myriad Origin Sword. 1. Under the attack of the Devour the Heavens, the Myriad Origin Sword trembled and the evil energy in the sword dissipated slightly. Big Brother, the Myriad Origin Sword has been severely infiltrated by the evil energy. If I want to purify it, I have to enter the Myriad Origin Sword. Mo had completely absorbed the energy of the Divine Stone. Looking at the Myriad Origin Sword that had gone out of control once again, she bit her lips and said, "All right, I will do my best to suppress the Myriad Origin Sword and help you purify it." Although Yi Chunfeng knew that it would be dangerous for Mo to forcefully purify the Myriad Origin Sword in her weakened state, Yi Chunfeng knew that he had no other choice. If the evil god were to gain complete control of the Myriad Origin Sword, it would bring fatal danger to them. Myriad Origin Sword, Fuse. Mo.'s body flashed and entered the Myriad Origin Sword like a stream of light. She activated the mysterious divine patterns in the Myriad Origin Sword and forcefully purified the evil energy in the Myriad Origin Sword. Sword Domain, Suppress.